In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
When your timeline reaches its Armageddon, what's a kid to do?
I'm not a...
Snag the keys to your mom's experimental ship, of course.
That's not quite how it happened.
Drift aimlessly in the rift between dimensions, trying to figure out how to operate it.
Now hold on a sec.
Pick up a few hitchhikers,
Hi!
Hello.
and maybe solve a disturbing mystery that could lead to the destruction of reality itself.
You know, if there's time,
There's always time.
I'm not so sure about that.
Get in on the adventure with the Rift Riders on Indiegogo.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to
Good
another
morning.
episode
How's
of
everybody
Nerd
doing?
Bacon.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You know, I love because we will have a few people on, and people don't know this. Behind the scenes, we're usually talking, and then the opening runs, and there's always more people who just materialize during the opening.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of like Christmas morning, seeing who's popped up in our panel. It's always exciting. Good to see you.
It's how I roll. What can I say?
Hey, no, I respect it. Mad props.
So, Speaking of Christmas, last Sunday was Christmas. Did you guys have a good Christmas this year?
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's all
Not
right.
all at once now, guys. I mean,
No. This has been an interesting Christmas for a lot of folks, and I know I had a blast.
It was a lot
But,
better than last year's.
Well,
yes,
that's true
it was. Yeah. I mean, that's not really a high bar to set now, is it?
No. Not really.
No, but you know what? It's an important bar to set. Any day you
I
don't
got
wake
this,
up dead is a good day. You know?
I got this electronic heating mug. You see that? It keeps my
Nice.
coffee at a warm 135.
Awesome.
And, my wife got
Dang.
this. So I am. I'm never shy about talking about how amazing my wife is. She's
Nor should you be.
beautiful. She's sweet. She is supportive. She's all of those. I mean, she's all that and so much more. And she got me this gift. So I got this 24-inch tablet for drawing, which see how much bigger that. I mean, I can't even get it out of this camera view.
Love
That's how big
it.
it is. But yeah, I love it.
Nice.
But I think I actually love the mug more. I use the
No,
mug more
come
throughout
on.
the day. I'm not even lying.
No,
use the
I
mug
get
more
it.
throughout the day. Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. And she just knows me so well. And so yeah, I had a really good Christmas. It was great waking up in my own bed, and I got a little emotional in the morning getting ready because I remembered the last Christmas. You know, CNAs had to get me ready so that I could go home.
Last
And
Christmas,
visit for the day.
couldn't buckle my stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And you know, Christmas night, I fell asleep in my own bed, where you know, so it really hits you, and Randy knows what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I do.
yeah, it really gets you. So
Last Christmas for me, I was fighting to let them actually let me eat something.
yeah, you didn't get to go home.
Yeah. I didn't go home until February 2nd. Yeah.
February 2nd. Yeah, a couple weeks after I did. Yeah, I went middle of January, so we're coming up on a year now.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, a lot has changed in a year. You know, I actually had someone on Twitter last night give me a hard time about the Liberty thing. It's like, oh, you've got pretty poor judgment, you know, being ripped off by Varian, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was in a coma. I was in a
Frankly.
coma.
Okay.
Yeah, like, well, you knew him, like you still knew him, and let him take advantage of you.
wait,
I'm like,
I'm
nice
gonna
job
ask you a
victim
dumb
shaming,
question.
Oh boy.
why is victim shaming a bad thing? Unless you're different, you know. For some people, it's horrible. You never victim shame.
Right.
Because, okay, if you, let's put this
Nick,
way,
I'm going to
if
say
you
something very. I know what you're asking, and I'm going to say for something very unpopular. It's because I am a white Christian male. It is perfectly fine to victim shame me. That's a spicy take, guys.
It just, it's like, okay.
Did Luke wake up and choose violence?
Yeah, those are always our most fun shows.
Yeah. I think I did wake up and choose violence today.
Luke, you wake up and choose violence every day since you woke up.
I
You
have.
know,
We were talking about this before the show started. I had so many people talk at me, through me, and over me while I couldn't say a word that now I don't take crap from anybody that I have a voice. I'm like, Randy's the same way. Randy, do people think you're meaner now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the wife says I'm a lot grumpier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't see it at all.
Oh, I'm happy.
I've caught myself a couple times being mean, and I've apologized. I'm like, that probably came out mean, and I'm sorry.
I remember one of my first interactions with you, Randy, was, I think it was right here on Nerd Bacon. Gosh, it was, well, now shoot, feels like a year ago. It's getting there. But yeah, I had said something in the chat, and you just like vehemently, like, it felt vicious the way you put me down and said, no, that's not right, such and such. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I said something again later on. You're just like, and I was like, whoa, okay.
See, Randy walks around with the big hammer. And when you have a big hammer, all your problems start to look like nails. You know?
Yeah.
I know this. I used to carry a 3-pound sledge on my hip when I worked at the hardware store, and that thing, having a hammer like that at all times on you starts to become a spiritual matter, because you start having this option of, or I could hit it with a hammer.
You just your inner Thor comes out.
It's yeah, it sounds terrible, but it's like there's this moment where my phone's messing up, and my brain's going through sort of the flow chart of how am I going to fix this.
Which is why we don't give Nick a gun.
No, we don't. You know what?
I could just shoot this.
We don't give Nick a gun because Nick has nerve damage and does not feel that he could responsibly handle what's behind him.
I know.
And
you ruined a very good joke.
Oh, no. It's a great joke, but people have come at me because I don't pack in certain circles. And it's like, I'm not packing because I don't think people should pack. I'm not packing because it's a responsible thing.
Yeah, you're responsible. Yeah.
But let's be irresponsible because I want to show this off. In this little screen, this doesn't look like much.
Hold on.
And I want to point out my wife bought this for me. Okay, I'm gonna get you a zoom in. It is all comic book femme fatales doing shady things.
Very cool.
And this, literally, my wife bought me this for Christmas, and it was a surprise. And the whole thing is just,
Are we getting
lines
shaky?
like, sorry, yeah, I do what I can, but this is so cool. I had to save it because I was not going to show that I have this in rotation till I hit this show.
There.
Because Nerd Bacon is where the comic book goodness comes in.
Comic book goodness. Speaking of comic book goodness, Randy, how was your holiday?
Oh, my holiday was good. Are you talking about me getting books?
Yeah.
I got books. I got a copy of Hero Bot 02.
Hold on.
Right there
Miracle
with a
Grow
great
that
cover
thing.
by Scott Rosema.
Nice.
All available. It's available at the Arrow store, arrowcomics.store.
It certainly is.
Now, I love
Hero 2 to go with
Hero.
HeroBot 01, which was part of that Liberty deal. And I just want to tell whoever was giving you a hard time that, buddy, you get
it was Vickyverse.
There's a certain level of respect that you assume everybody has in this industry, and that's and that was taken advantage of with this Liberty deal ever so slowly. I knew this guy for 2 years and had podcasted with him for almost 2 years and thought he was on the level until we found out he wasn't.
Yeah.
It's called a long con.
It was that crazy cat lady Vickyverse, the old lady that screams at the sky.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Vickyverse.
Well, then I hate to say it because I don't know.
I can't say anything negative about Vickyverse because she hasn't said anything negative about me directly. But her perception of how the Liberty deal went down, her reporting was awesome. But if she's looking back on it and blaming you for any part of this or blaming us for any part of this, is totally wrong.
Well, she just has to know who to hate.
It was a con artist grifter that hooked us all in on the assumption, and he took advantage of our dreams, literally, of being in a retail shop. But
yeah, she just has to find
in a retail
somebody
chain.
To hate and,
it was an opportunity that I didn't see any negative feedback on until JD started pointing out that it probably didn't exist and that it was too good to be true. Because I assumed the guy was on the level because I knew him for a couple of years.
Yeah, and she's just one of these weirdos that,
she thinks she's better than
history.
Other folks sometimes, and she's not. She gets hooked in.
She rewrites history to suit her own needs. And
I'm sure she's had relationships that have gone south from people that she thought she knew.
Well, and I'm sure she,
it's the same thing.
I'm sure people have cut her out of their life because she's a.
It's just that it didn't probably cost her close to $20,000.
Yeah, it didn't cost. Well, she ain't got that much money. She can't even buy comic books.
No, she
hasn't even actually bought a comic book. That's the problem.
She got lawyer troubles with, what's his name, Preston.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Well,
she just sticks herself in all that kind of drama. She's kind of funny. She's kind of funny.
I appreciate her reporting though, because I've sent a lot of people to her video because she did have it pretty close to dead on what happened.
Craig, how was your holiday, man?
Oh, it was great. I mean, mostly you made my Christmas more than anything, but no, I got new
to be Santa.
Yeah.
There we go.
But I got some new ink cartridges and a couple bottles of alcohol, so I'm happy with that.
Wow.
Nothing like a few spirits to help you through the holidays.
Yeah. Nothing like a few spirits to get the Christmas spirit.
We had to say goodbye to our favorite place to go to eat breakfast. Unfortunately, they're closing it because the owner had cancer. Has cancer.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's never any good.
It was still a fun evening we spent there. So
Good. Justin, how was your Christmas, man?
Well, we had snowpocalypse down here in rural Tennessee, so that was fun.
It could have been worse. You could have been in Buffalo.
Oh God, I know. My brother-in-law lives up there.
Oh man, that's got to be rough.
I mean, of course, he's set kind of in the hills and the hollers, so he's already like ready for this type of stuff every year. But
you live in Buffalo, you get used to snow. You just don't get used to that much snow twice in a row. That was like a double smack for them. That's crazy.
It's kind of funny. He's a transplant. Like he's from Tennessee. He moved up there, and everybody calls him, because his name's Mike. Everybody calls him Tennessee Mike.
Tennessee Mike.
Do it all day, do it all night. I'm Tennessee Mike.
Okay, that is a good person to know. If I hear somebody and they refer to him as that's Tennessee Mike, I know a couple things. Like, I know when the stuff hits the fan, Tennessee Mike will be in Tennessee doing whatever he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe at the end of the world, when the stars start blinking out, it'll be, the cockroaches and the people in the Appalachian Mountains. Everybody else could get wiped out. They'll still be going, you know?
But he's up there in New York, so he's very much ingrained up there because of family and whatnot. So he's got obligations. But
I know someone that grew up on a ridge. Okay, it's not even a town. It's not a municipal at all. It's called a ridge because it's literally on a ridge.
A ridge.
Okay.
Yeah. I live on a missionary ridge.
They are there's some interesting people.
No, I love those kind of. I have this thing where self-sufficiency and the capacity to do things, coupled with basic human respect, makes earns my my respect. Like, I find those people far more interesting and people I want to be around than somebody who's just rich or is just pretty. Yeah. Because rich. I've watched people lose fortunes. And frankly,
we're going to talk about losing fortunes this morning.
I've watched people lose pretty too.
That's a good segue.
It really is. Before we get into this morning's topic about people losing fortunes, and I mean fortunes, okay? Let's welcome our chat. Chat, how you doing this morning? We got Mad Ruth in the chat and on the panel, Agent Zero as well. Back and forth. Facebook user, we cannot see who you are, but you beat us all here this morning. Congratulations. We got RJ Critical Blast in the house. Got my geek eggs scrambled and ready to go. All right, man. Great to have you here this morning. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, says Genuine Comics. We got Immortal Rising Comics in the house saying hail. Let me say something. Immortal Rising Comics pointed out a bit of trivia this morning that I did not know. For some reason, we got talking about the Karma Chameleon song. Red, gold, and green, right? Like, what does that mean, right? Turns out, red, yellow, and green is the Ethiopian flag. He was in love with a black man.
Oh.
What a clever lyric, right? Lovin' would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green. Way to go. Way to go, Boy George. With that clever lyric about homosexuality. See, no one cared. We all knew that he wasn't singing about a girl.
Right.
But no one cared.
No.
Now that's, he didn't even have to say that he was like.
But he wasn't out there waving it like a flag either.
No, he was just weird, and he just sang a song.
It's just the way it was. Yeah.
Well,
he was a good
and I
singer.
mean, and the whole band. I mean, because it's Boy George and the Culture Club. I mean, I had growing up, I had that album, and man, I listened to it like over and over and over. With
I knew as a kid, "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me" was written about the drummer.
Oh wow!
Yes, because they had a thing going. And again, we all knew about Freddie. Nobody cared, but somehow in 2022, the most important thing in life is your sexuality. Exactly. Nobody cares. If that's the most important aspect of who you are, I'm so sorry.
I mean, the only people,
no other depth.
The only people that may have cared in music and stuff like that was, Tipper Gore and the whole, coming against Dee Snider and Frank Zappa and all that BS.
Man, Dee Snider was a rock star with that.
Music, and then I just had this image of Tipper Gore in full Kiss. With the makeup and the big spikes, because we're kind of in the era of glam rock, and that's why I think the whole trans movement. Okay, my response is okay, cool. To all the stuff, it's not my jam, but I love the phrase. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Whatever you're about is on you.
I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Yeah. That's the quote for the day, guys. There you go.
And maybe it is from the 80s, but it's like the music I used to listen to were made by some really. You want to talk Twisted Sister and stuff?
Yep, yes, exactly.
I'm a straight edge, lifetime sober kind of guy, but man, I know the origin of a lot of my music, except for what I miss here, because for most of my life I thought it was standing on the railway station, one toe over the line.
Oh,
yeah, because the one toe on the yellow line was something I would do as a kid to be rebellious. You know what I mean? So
one toke.
Yeah,
one toke.
It literally.
Good and
I
high.
think I was in my 30s before that sunk in. It's like, oh, well, shoot. Okay.
My favorite thing is to listen to old songs and be like, kids, this song is about sex. Because they'll be singing along. It's like
in flight.
Oh, nice.
Afternoon delight.
Yikes.
Hey, Nick. Who sings that song?
I cannot remember. I can't remember my friend's name.
Can we please just keep it that way?
He tried to get the mic drop, but he couldn't get the
I am so bad a singer. I can reference music, and we never have to worry about a copyright strike.
I will say this. You did it much better than this. Was it the Starland
vocal band?
Vocal band.
Yes.
Starland vocal band.
Starland vocal band.
Starland vocal band.
What a great name.
Just no.
James Hayes is in the house. Hello, everyone. I hope they're having a great day. We are having a fantastic day. We're all full of beans here this morning. And we're just having a good old time.
Yeah.
Critical Blast is last Christmas. Rude beans. They defibbed my heart. then they sent me away the very next day.
Yep.
Yep, that was Christmas for us. We got File 13. Welcome, Feliz Navidad, everyone. Russ Leach in the house. Good day, sir.
Russ.
Genuine Comics says, Luke has become more scrappy since his life-changing event. I certainly have become more scrappy. In fact, sometimes Nick says I'm channeling my inner Luke.
Yes, what I'm talking to Luke about when I'm resisting the dire urge to solve problems with either verbal or physical violence, which everybody has that. Don't feel bad about being tempted as long as you don't do it, because that's a reality. We're flawed beings. I like to keep my temptation front and center where I know this is messing with me, because if it's in the back, that's when you get in trouble. When you're not keeping an eye on it, that's when you make a mistake.
Sneaks up on you.
And I like to inform people, I'm going to step away now because I want to continue being the person I am right now, not the person I used to be. So I'm going to walk over here because, solving problems by throwing the scenery at it is a Sith idea. And it does appeal, because,
That's another great Nickism, man. Solving a problem by throwing the scenery at it. Okay.
You know,
Jesus
it's
did
like,
that one time.
what would you do? I'd hit him with a chair. What? No, really. I'm really thinking I'd hit him with a chair first and then walk my way over to that table, you know.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Sorry.
James Hayes believes victim shaming comes from a place of someone feeling superior to the person injured. It's a loss of empathy in favor of ego for the untroubled or challenged. Very astute assessment, my friend.
Well said.
13, as a person whose career involved extreme violence, I notice I'm more of a pacifist nowadays. Yeah.
And that is exactly what I want to be.
What was your career? Hold on.
Probably a soldier.
Yep.
I had to guess.
Extreme violence. Yeah, that sounds like
being ex-military. So, I was very much a war hawk, but I'm very dovish now.
Yeah, my family has recognized that I am much more gentle with them and a lot less gentle with other people, like outside of the family, outside of my friends group.
You mean you got your priorities in order?
Oh yeah. So okay, guys. So
All right,
I did not share this. I have not shared this, but my wife pranked me right after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. They went shopping, and while they were out, they you know how they have these people that do makeup and stuff like that and try to sell you things in the mall. Well, they tried to sell her some eye cream. Now, what you need to know is that this eye cream was $2,000. Okay,
what?
it was $1,995. Okay, that's how much this stuff was. But she thought it would be funny to call me on her way home in the van on speaker with my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law all in the car to hear. So she calls and she says, and she's really distraught. She's really acting it up. She's hamming it up. She's really distraught. And she's like, Luke, you're going to see a charge on the bank statement. And I just want to let you know, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And she starts like pulling in some, like starting to sound like she's going like trying to hold back tears. She goes, I thought it was $19.95, but it's really good. It's really good eye cream, but it was $1,995. And they say that I can't return it. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, look, she's already upset. Nothing I can say will make her feel worse about this than, I mean, I blow more money than this lady does. So I need to just be calm and not freak out, and we'll figure this out. I just need to comfort her. In the process of doing that, I also had just a guttural response of holy F, that's a lot of money. Like out loud. The internal thought came out. And when I said that, because that was the first words that could actually utter out, I guess it wasn't the first thing. But I was like, it's okay, honey. It's okay. It's all right. Don't, So, then they all started laughing at me. They all got and so I realized, oh, I'm being punked. But my mother-in-law still says like how you were just so sweet with Beth. You just like, and I'm like, yeah, but if that was anybody else, like if it was not my wife or a family member, I'd have been like, you are the stupidest. I'd have just ripped into him. I'm certain I would have, and I'd have felt bad about it, and then I'd apologized. But I probably still would have done it. So. Fun anecdote this morning. I carried a Cleon-style sword in actual combat. My gosh!
I wish my all that money for the colorists that I've gone through to get colors would have been a prank.
Right. All of the money I've spent on comic books is not a prank. It's real, guys. Eric Hawkins in the chat this morning. Good morning, all. It's nice to have you here. Cool. Randy, Facebook user in the house today. Hojo's in the house. speaking of Hojo, we have something special from Hojo that we are going to see here in just a minute. We are going to be talking news today. I think we're going to keep news as an element of our show on Thursday mornings. Talk about what's been happening in the world, in the comic world. The Varian deal made me more cautious and distrusting of people who promise working relationships that seem to
everybody.
Good.
Yep.
Everybody.
There's a lesson to be learned.
It is.
This is why I am so. I love Luke. I trust Luke. But danged if every step isn't done. You know,
like contract.
Yep.
Contract and careful. You know, one
because
step
personalities can change on a dime.
Yep.
I don't agree with much of what she says, but I often don't agree with people attacking her personal rather than dealing with the substantive issues that might raise pigs back. Yeah. Yeah.
She's got me blocked, so I can't respond to her anyway, so I just make fun of her.
Yeah.
I literally know nothing about this lady, so I wish her the best.
Keep your distance. Here's what I say. If she's behind it, I want nothing of it. If she's in it, I want nothing of it. You know, you throw out a Boy George meme in a DM group as a joke, and it turns into a deep dive. Yep.
Well, yeah.
Hojo is the reason a lot of things happen. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, he is the instigator of things. You guys don't realize this, but my 3 rules, Hojo wrote them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hojo wrote them.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love having people like Hojo around because they keep your chat going.
That will definitely get in your head, man. It's like an earworm. Earth's Best is here. Earth's Best Entertainment. Welcome, my friend.
I will never not love, like, every time I see the handle Earth's Best.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the audacity always
it's like Invincible, you know.
Yeah.
It's like just, you're little optimistic, aren't you?
I dig it because, like, I spend so much time. A lot of what I do is trying to build people up. That's kind of what I'm about. And a lot of times it's, you gotta, especially people who are just getting started in things, you kind of gotta feed them the support pipeline, because we all need that sometimes. But seeing somebody who, what do you do? Earth's Best Entertainment. And someone somewhere in our comic verse needs to do a one-shot, even if it's just a one-page, where the aliens have come. And what are we here for? Earth's Best Entertainment.
We're coming for you, Edie. Critical Blast says the clock will be coming back from the comic book grave and out of obscurity, launching in January. Yes. The goal was to launch January 1st on Fund My Comic. But guess what, guys? A little announcement here, speaking of the news. Lawyers and bankers get really, really nervous when you allow for an 18-plus type mild nudity and violence content being viewable on the platform, on the campaign page. So, that has been a hiccup in our process that has slowed us down tremendously. And so we are working on that.
So can we use that as maybe an opportunity to say some words as to maybe just, I try to be charitable, but perhaps that's one of the issues with Indiegogo with these campaigns sometimes is that they're it's
lawyers and banks. Yeah.
Cop of time. Yeah.
But they don't communicate those problems. If they communicated it, it'd be a different story.
It's a PR thing. They don't want to be too transparent because they don't want to say the wrong thing. I get it.
That's my hang up. The phrase "too transparent."
Yeah.
Okay, it's like if I'm doing business, I want to be transparent because one, I'm going to if something goes wrong, you'll see why. Because things go wrong. Sometimes things happen.
But when you get things like intellectual property and entangled with trade secrets, like Yeah, you really have to watch what you say about this, that, and the other, because you don't know how much it's entangled in someone else's IP, etc. And I'm talking about from a back end perspective.
Right. No, I get that. What I'm talking about is when you're talking why you do things.
Well, let me give you I just want to give an example. I was very much into Firefly Online, which was supposed to be a game that was going to be released. Back in 2015, I think is what they were trying to release it in.
Yes.
And what happened? Part of what happened, I mean, outside of probably some issues that were arising because Disney was acquiring Fox, but aside from that, the other things that were kind of happening is the developers started oversharing what they were doing because they themselves were fans and they wanted to be as transparent as possible. And it went from, hey, we're sharing everything, to all of a sudden they had an injunction and they couldn't say anything.
Right.
And it's a scar that's only just now starting to heal in our community. So
you gotta be forthcoming with fans. I'm telling you.
When I say transparency, I am not referring to things like spoilers or
well, what it was, they were talking about features that they were adding to the game or that they were expecting to add to the game, which, I mean, at the end of the day, may or may not have actually been in the game. So it was almost like they were hyping up certain features that may not end up being in the game and this and that. But
I pre-ordered Halo Infinite because my wife and I love couch co-op.
Cool. Heck yeah.
Halo Infinite.
So that's what you're calling it now.
That too.
That's what she said.
But a year into it, they have not been able to institutionalize couch co-op. They have been able to do local split screen. So I totally get that. I mean, that there are so many companies that overpromise and underdeliver.
You know, they have their desired effect. Yeah.
I think part of it is because we have the patch culture now, where it used to be because you couldn't update games as easily or other media. You know, it's not like you could say, oh, I put this comic out and then, oh, I meant to have this feature and I didn't put the storyline. It's in this one, you know. It's not the same kind of concept. Because a comic and like the old school games, when you bought the game was done. If it had a bug, well, that sucks. If it had too many bugs, nobody buy it. Now they put out a game and
it's full of bugs.
Full of bugs.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh God! But it's like Infinite came out with half a game. I mean, really, it didn't have a third of the features it has now, and not 25% of what was promised. And they got away with a year of, I believe, defrauding the customer, because I'm passionate over this. I was signing up to be a I wanted to be a playtester and I've been playing Halo since day one. And they completely, and they're like, why are people fleeing our game? Why is all this stuff down? Because they don't respect the customer. And it's different to respect the customer versus, cater to the fans or what you perceive the fans are. Yeah. But getting all the way back, when I say transparency, I mean not in the substance. Like if I say I'm putting out, in 2023, for example, I want to do the new version of Big Stumpy Robots. This is a great game. Everyone should buy it. # always.
It really is, guys.
But I want to get play tested. I'll tell people it's coming. I plan to have it out in 2023. I was going to do it much sooner, but I got caught up in some contract work with this thing called the Hybrids RPG. So everything else I was doing got shelved. And I told the fans who've been waiting for that, look, this is a paid gig. Paid gigs versus the gig you put out, sometimes, they work different.
They really do.
They really do. So you have to suspend stuff. But it's coming out. Now,
all of my clients get priority over Hybrids.
You know, I've told
Trash
them
Man hates that, guys. As a musician, I'm about the music. Who cares where they stick their guitar? I don't care where they stick
There you
their
go.
guitar.
Oh, boy.
I still like Michael Jackson's music, and I still like, God, Pudding Pop. I lost his name. Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Pudding Pop.
Like, Pudding Pop.
Look, here's the deal.
Pudding Pops.
What we all know now at this point.
Pop. But I still love his old comedy. And I mean,
We all know now.
He's a skis, but you know.
We all know now at this point that Chevy Chase is a raging egomaniac and a jerk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his movies are still hilarious, so I watch them.
It's not Christmas if I don't get to see National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. No, you know what? I'm going to back it up right now. I'm stone serious. This is my 30th anniversary.
Yes, you are.
Bobblehead of
I don't know
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I had it down for a show earlier. I haven't got back up on my wall.
I got a new pop too. I got a Ron Swanson pop to go with my Andy Dwyer pop. So, you know.
But you need
Telepathic
to,
Bunny's here with us. Welcome, Telepathic Bunny.
You need to make
Hojo
a
wants to know
little
what Out of
plastic
Obscurity
thing that
is.
says "I do what I want."
I do what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and just he needs that. It's yours.
Yeah. Hojo wants to know what Out of Obscurity is. EB is answering that. It's this really cool anthology that some super talented creators are crowdfunding in January. Yes,
Hojo wants to know. That's hilarious.
Hojo wants to know.
Hojo happens to be contributing too.
Yep.
As well as me.
How to read comics like Veruca Saki says, Luke, I'll tumble for you. Thank you, my friend, and welcome. Welcome to the show this morning. We hope you have a good time. Relax, Frankie. Every time I read that, I always have to say, relax, Frankie. I can never read it, relax, Frankie goes to Hollywood. Is all
No.
Yeah, it is.
You're kidding.
Relax.
No.
Don't
Nobody
do
knew
it.
that.
Why you want to? Yeah. Anyway. If you're talking about Inner Luke from the new film, I would think you'd be dealing with IBS instead of what you're talking about now. I'm not even going to read that one out loud, but thank you, Bunny. Thank you so much.
There are moments. Okay, have you ever driven down the road and just for a moment wished you could be Magneto? You're just,
yeah.
You know, just, I was driving down the road and my wife saw my index finger just going, and she goes, "Okay, I have to know what. We've been married for years," and she goes, "I have to know what. I can't figure out what tune you're listening to in your head. I can't figure out the time because you're doing this." And, you know, I'm the guy who will occasionally conduct if I'm listening to the right song, you know, and I'm really getting into it. I'm like, no, I'm Magneto in my mind. I'm just reaching out to these people who don't understand that green means go and just flipping their car off. I never, wish that on anybody. But in my mind, just being able to reach over and go, woo!
That reminds me of,
that
reminds me of men who stare at goats, where he's like trying to bust clouds with his mind.
Obscure reference gets a bell.
Yeah.
Obscure references do get the bell.
Man, I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
It's hilarious.
Tells about the
I love Jeff Bridges' character.
Lack of inner monologue is hilarious. We've got Pixel Trader in the house today. Welcome, Pixel Trader. It's nice to have you here. Pixel is the moderator of a fantastic site called IndieCron, which we will be doing some integration with once Fund My Comic goes live. And we are looking forward to that. I've been promised that we are going to be getting some new promotional material. Hopefully this week they'll have it ready for us. But we're really trying to get a launch this week.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't there an ad for IndieCron in the back of the latest Hybrids issue?
There is an ad for IndieCron in the back of the latest Hybrids issue.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
Love it.
Very good, yeah. Who else?
That book is so good, Luke. I just have to gush on him again.
I appreciate that. It was labor of love. It really was. All IGG has to do is openly say that legally they're not allowed to showcase 18+ art on the platform. Done.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the kind of transparency that they need. Or, if they said we do not support people who have ties to political organizations or whatever, even if I disagree with them, if they're
Just be
open
honest.
about it, I can respect.
Yeah.
You've been open, but making people
which-
tap that line in a minefield is
Which
not.
Fund My Comic might actually have to start out with no 18 plus artwork on the platform.
Well,
Which, I mean, doesn't bother me because, I'm anti-porn.
right.
I have my own personal brand, that I am very cautious with. But this platform isn't necessarily my own personal brand. This is something that we're
But
we're making for the community. So
there are two things, because I was talking about this behind the scenes, and I think it's valid for the community, because I like to pull out my crystal ball sometimes. I believe Fund My Comic is going to succeed. I really do. In my heart and in my brain, I believe that Fund My Comic is going to succeed. Now, pulling out the crystal ball, I think as soon as it does, other people are going to try and do the same thing. I really see Fund My Comic is going to be the start of a new wave of crowdfunding sites, and they're going to pop up, like dandelions all over the place. So my take on it is, Luke's a pastor, and he doesn't talk about this as much as he could, but his first job serving our mutual boss here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to always do things that glorify that on a level, and that's where there's a line between tolerance and condoning. Okay, and I believe, and this is what gets me in chats like this. I believe that most things should be tolerated if it's not hurting anybody. Okay, if it's consensual adults and it's not hurting anybody, their rights extend infinitely. Tolerated. But in my business, I don't choose to condone certain things. I don't do paid pornography things. I don't touch that kind of gig. I work in academia. I used to be a librarian. I'd like to be a librarian again.
here's the thing about you, Nick. You may not condone it, but or participate in it, but you fully support people's right to do it if they so choose.
Exactly. I don't have to like
and that's
it.
what Fund My Comic is all about. It's allowing artists the freedom to express themselves.
And I get that, and I respect that. And God, I don't know if I'm devil's advocating you or angel's advocating you at this point. It's really weird, but that's kind of my job to ask these questions, because I'm passionate at this point about a person's right as an artist to choose their jobs, and as a businessman to choose what they represent, because of what I saw happen over that whole shenanigan with the gay marriage cake fiasco.
Yeah.
I have no problem with anybody who wants to get married. Literally anybody, as long as they're consenting adults. I don't care about who they are. I don't care about what they're made of, and I frankly don't care about the number. If 5 or 6 people want to all go clump up together and live quietly in a commune, that's not my business. If they're not hurting anybody and they're not doing anything wrong, I don't see a problem. But I shouldn't be forced to say I like it, and I shouldn't be forced as a businessman to say I am supporting this, because I will tell you, right after the cake fiasco, I had some people come to me and say, Nick, I like your art style. Thank you. I want to pay you to draw something. You have my attention. And it was both, it was fan art, which I don't do other people's IPs without permission, and at least paid. I'll do free stuff, and then I get nothing out of it, because everybody at some point draws Batman or whatever. And they wanted something extremely pornographic. And while it would be in my mechanical skill set to do, I'm sorry, I don't do that. At the time, I was a teacher. I'm working at a high school.
Mm.
I can't, even if I wanted to, I can't do that and keep my day job. And they're like, no, you don't get it.
Well, are you saying you can't have an OnlyFans and be a teacher?
Not if you want to stay employed. And
not if you want to stay employed. Hey, I want to get to this question here, guys. So, File 13 says I have plenty of ideas. You guys have heard them before, but my drawing is a combination of Simple Jack and Bob Ross and writing.
Right.
Well, how can I make my vision a reality? Well, here's the deal. We have to do what our good friend Shy says. I mean, it is really, it's as simple as getting off the couch and do it. And I know that's, that seems disingenuous, but it is very true. My suggestion is to first grab yourself some, if you plan to draw it yourself, you're going to want to get a couple of books like Graphic Storytelling and Visual Narrative by the great Will Eisner. He also has Comics and Sequential Art. Both really of these manuals are fantastic ways to get started on how to tell stories through visual means. I endorse those fully. I do believe Randy
not just that, but you need both of those books in your library if you do sequential art at all, and you need to read through them on a regular basis, because I still pull stuff out of there that Eisner wrote down 20, 40 years ago. That resonates. They're incredible books.
I'd say start there, and then instead of having someone find you and say, hey, let me mentor you. Mm-hmm. No, you find someone that you want to be mentored by, and they're probably going to be too busy to do it. All right. And they're probably not going to be interested in mentoring someone. That's the one that you want. Okay. You bug them until they relent. You just keep coming around. You ask questions when you have something that, maybe you don't know the answer to. You go to them and you ask them, and they're going to get real sick of you. But eventually, they're going to be like, this person really wants to learn. And you know what? I'm going to teach them. Find yourself a mentor. That is step number 2. So from there, your mentor will be able to lead you through the process of making that comic book. But picking a mentor is, in my opinion, one of the most important things. Randy's kind of become a mentor to me, and he did not start out that way. I think I annoyed you to start with.
With all due respect,
I'm not saying nothing.
Doesn't everybody annoy Randy to
Your
start
silence is deafening.
I would
ask questions.
I know I'm annoying, but
I just get I have to keep reminding myself that people don't have the same experience level that I've come to acquire over long hard work and sweat. And and when folks say stuff that is like, no, that's not how that worked. It worked like this. It always comes off as mean and grumpy.
Yeah. Well, and I think the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people that's kind of in my same age group, in my same level of experience, that tend to take different approaches. I look at Randy's experience and I'm like, I need to learn from this. Other people's like, Randy don't know nothing. He's old. And those people are
Randy's
idiots.
old, yep. He's only been in the business for
Telepathic
like
Money
4
says
decades.
it's yeah. I don't know a thing. Telepathic Money says his inconsistency and lack of clarification afterwards, and the specificity of the targeting that is really suspicious, that has nothing to do with the lawyers. See you in the 20 minutes when this is read. Yes, that was about right. That was at 9:42. Nice call, Bunny.
Dang, Bunny.
Yes, wow.
Way to just ouch.
Nice.
Not telepathic Bunny for nothing.
Right? I'm impressed, dude. Yes.
Telecastic Bunny.
And if you need a link this morning, let me know. I'm always happy to have you on the show. We're getting ready to talk about some fun stuff. And you don't need a link. You can pop in whenever you want.
Ruth,
yep.
Is there anything you'd like to wade in? Because I realize you are very polite, and I would be polite, except I know Luke, and you can't be, because I lose the end half of most of my sentences anyway. Please don't be afraid to throw a verbal elbow in this panel once in a while, because I can watch like your facial expressions go, and I see gears turning and opinions shaping and forming, and I love hearing when I see that much thought, I know stuff is going on. So what do you have anything you want to weigh in? No is acceptable. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, I mean, that conversation went all kinds of directions. But back when we were talking about the IGG piece, like I've been tracking that since the beginning of the shadow banning happened, and it all went down with two people basically fighting with each other and taking the fight onto IGG and getting the trust and safety involved. And way back when, IGG used to notify the creator of what it was on their page that had been struck, or what it was that they needed to change, or what they needed to do, gave them the opportunity to change it, and then they would bring the campaign back up. But what we're seeing now with IGG, and what I think is happening, is there's probably just one nefarious person out there who's going through the campaigns out of spite, finding an excuse to strike an image for nudity or violence or any of that 18 stuff, and trust and safety is just going with it. They're not even trying to work with the creator. They're just striking the campaign on behalf of a complaint. And IGG is even denying the shadow banning. They're saying that it's not happening. And we all know what's happening.
Well, let me... So here's the deal. I have been like Hybrids. The entire Hybrids catalog is now shadow banned on IGG. Can't search it there. Some of them don't even show up on a Google search. Some of them do, which means a couple of them are more recent. But after a while, it won't even show up on a Google search. So the latest campaign was still in demand. And I messaged them. Normally it takes 2 or 3 days for them to close a campaign. And on the reason why you want to opt out of in demand, I put other and then typed in, I was shadow banned, so what's the point in giving the platform any more of my money? That was my point. They had my campaign closed in less than 13 hours. So they know.
Yep.
They know what's going on. And
I have to
they're
ask
just not
this.
responding.
Is this something, and boy, I would, somebody who knows Dojo-kun, because I think he's the right guy to ask this question, and my memory is not always the best. Launch it towards him, probably, because if not, he'd know. Is this something that could eventually turn into a class action lawsuit?
I mean,
I'm
if you can
still
prove it, but they're smart enough to keep that down. It's just like what happened with Twitter and the laptop incident. Unless somebody comes in at the top and releases files and documents to say that they knew about it and emails, then no, there's nothing that you can do about it. I mean, it's you're beholden to the
objection
gatekeepers.
hearsay, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Now that song's stuck in my head.
You're
Dang
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
Dang it. Oh.
Objection hearsay.
I still play
But
2077.
They're still
for
discussing
$100
how
right?
private these platforms are anyway, and
Yeah.
how much of a private business they are. I think a lot of these need to be, pulled out. You're going to see that happen next couple of years. I'm positive. You're going to have some congressional hearings about exactly how private these platforms are.
Nick, you'll have a chance to see
if they're a
Cosby.
private corporation or a public forum.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to
big
be a
question
funny
that
show.
needs to be answered.
Just don't drink the water.
So then there's also, we gotta, and if they do decide to, bring it out into the public sphere, we need to, settle once and for all whether or not, Facebook, Twitter, whatnot, were founded with government seed money. So because once you get that money, it's kind of like, well, the government kind of has you by the collective scrotum.
It's like if you can get your swimming pool filled by most municipal fire departments, they'll come in and fill your swimming pool for free, with the caveat that if there's a fire,
We just
We
lost
lost Mad Ruth.
They get to use your water.
they get to use your water. It's the same way with getting your pond stocked by the government. They can do it. There's some really weird little hooks in the background.
Well, I have heard yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong, but TikTok has been banned from the White House completely.
As it should be.
Well, that's because the TikTok, and people have asked me why I haven't gone on TikTok. I am not on it. I don't have it as a service. I only see it when it's been forwarded through Facebook already.
Mhm.
It's because it's basically a Chinese governmental spying program. I mean, it really is. And this is coming from guys who do high-level cybersecurity stuff. It's on the list of programs that I just refuse to touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a switch. Hi.
We lost Craig, and we got. But I wonder if Craig's. Craig lives out there in Canada, right?
Yes.
And their internet's shaky out there.
Well, we were talking about American governmental policies, so they may have been waiting. No.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Hi, Dr.
Good
Nick.
morning, Amanda B. We got Amanda B in the house
Hey,
today.
buddy.
Welcome.
Sporting
You guys are
the,
making fun of my slow commenting. I see.
So
Oh,
Buddy's sporting the. I got to plug this. He's sporting the Shadow Punk T-shirt, man. Love it. It's
Rock
badass.
on. That's the only merch. That's one thing I want to say. We need to get more of our merch on our shows. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's
I'm
what
wearing
I really want to see.
Starcross
Yeah,
shirt.
see, you're rocking it.
I'm wearing a Starcross shirt.
This was a gift, and it's too awesome not to wear. I refuse to be rebuked.
Oh,
There you go.
But,
my avatar is a fraction of our cover of Crumb Dog #1. So
There you go. There you go.
that's how it's done. I have a question for T Bunny though, because he's here. I've been waiting eagerly. Freedom of speech applies to the
And
government.
welcome, Homer Glitch.
Not necessarily individuals. That's why the government can't say you can't drop the F word, but your employer can.
Okay.
I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. T-Bunny.
Yeah.
A few months ago, you, me, and a guy named Buddy Lord sat around and did something.
Yeah, we did.
Sugar Chris.
And we're talking about things that are probably going to happen in 2023. Hey, Joe Bachman, that's my tech master.
Right. Well, the update on Writer's Rule. I believe that's what you're.
Yes,
Sir. Welcome this morning.
Well, the master of it, which was Buddy Lord, had a complete total, shall we say, foobar of his plans happened early on in the fall, and now he's going to have to completely hit reset on his campaign for the third time.
Oh, I can't wait to cover that story.
man.
Oh, I can't wait to cover that
because,
story.
Because of things that I'm not sure I'm free to say at this moment.
I understand things happen in the background.
But on top of that, he's had a lot of family drama, so it's been a little difficult.
Whose phone is going off?
That's mine.
Not mine.
Yep.
Sorry.
No problem. But
Welcome back, Mad
but
Ruth.
yeah, it's on the docket as soon as he can find some air. We are definitely pursuing it, but
I don't have a lot of skin in that game, but I put
No,
a lot of
Hybrid's-
work into it. I'd like
Oh, I
to
know.
see.
I know you
So
did.
let me say this, okay? So we can, so everyone understands. Nick is an amazing game developer, and Big Stumpy Robots. He gave me a digital copy of that, and that was his. He didn't realize it, but that was his resume to me. That made me want to work with him on the game development, and he has not disappointed on the Hybrids manual. In fact, the core manual is it's going to be a feather in his cap, and I think it's going to influence a lot more copycats out there, if you will.
Right.
Because that's the highest form of flattery, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But yeah, very, very good. But speaking of good, okay, one of the things that I want to show off
this
this
is
morning.
popular in Russia, and I never see a dime.
Right, because of pirating. So anyway, Hojo, a friend of ours,
Damn
who's
you,
in the chat
Putin.
right now. Hojo, if you're still there.
Let it be spliced.
Hojo dropped a brand new trailer last night on Belmont's birthday bash, right?
Right.
Well, we're going to go ahead and premiere it on Nerd Bacon this morning. Nick and I have not seen this trailer.
Oh,
Okay?
man. You're in for a
So
treat.
this is
That's
the
funny,
first for us. So we're going to add this to the stream. Everyone, this is the not the world premiere, but the Bacon Nation premiere of the Mythicals trailer. Everyone check it out.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh. Will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
That was so worth the wait, guys. Holy cow.
That
what
is
a great
freaking
trailer.
Hojo, I will be sending you a
Great
link
trailer.
To the secret folder where I run their trailers on not Nerd Bacon. I'm on Nerd Bacon. Never mind the furthermore. I want to promote that for several reasons. First off, love the product.
That is Mrs. Good Stuff.
God, I haven't seen Mrs. Good Stuff in a brick. Anyway, but also that hits my soul right here. Like that's the it's so good and irreverent sarcasm and yes, the Daphne's bird. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
But my gosh, that's it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, good comment here. As a former art teacher, I always thought it was strange that if I wanted to paint a series of classic nude paintings on my own time, I would have to worry about possibly losing my job. Yeah, it is strange because
I will tell the story.
Learn to draw by drawing nudes.
I was a substitute teacher for about 10 or 12 years, somewhere in there. On top of everything else, because I always believe in having a backup gig for your backup gig kind of deal.
Oh, yeah.
And I got called in because someone found my DA site, my DeviantArt site, which go through and look. You won't find anything shady there. I stand by it. I put my real name on my stuff. And one character I had drawn years before had the same first name as a student. A random anime girl. It wasn't even that good. I mean, it was years ago, so my art wasn't as good as it is now.
Oh, they thought you.
And they're like, "Well, we thought you based us." I know there's something wrong because I can't get in. I've had 3 calls to come to work, and then the computer won't let me do it. So what's going on? Well, we don't think you're a pervert or anything like that, but we did look at your site and.
That's always a fun way to start a conversation.
I'm
don't think you're a pervert or anything.
Literally, I'm sitting with the superintendent of the school system I work at. And they're like, we don't, because I'm not. But we need you to take that down so that there's no misunderstanding. And then you really should take your art down if you want to stay working here. By then, of course, rumors had flown all over the place. And so what I did is I did take it down because one, it was an old piece I didn't like that much, and that's easier. I worked one more job so that they didn't run me out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, no. Because I was sitting there, I'm like, I had the choice. I could stay a substitute teacher, which I loved. I was a long-term sub, working with special needs people and the adult ed kids who, they needed somebody who could handle, they might set a fire in the class or throw things at you or whatever, and that was, the kids needed somebody like that. And
I worked with special needs, and the people who were crazy were the administrators.
Yes.
I mean, the special needs kids.
Bell's getting a lot of work today, isn't it?
Throwing poo at me. They're not happy with me today. Okay, I can deal with that. But it's like, hey, how are you? I mean, that I
crazy, crazy stuff.
But
now was that a psycho? Was that like the psycho sound, or was that like the Kill Bill sound? Like
either, both, either.
Take your pick. Hey guys,
working with ladies and working for the state was the worst experience.
The 28th of December.
Vile, evil creatures they are.
Stanley's birthday yesterday.
Aw.
We're getting ready to get into some news here. An hour and 13 minutes in.
That's fine. This is how our show works.
Yeah, it's been a really good conversation so far.
And I love working with special needs folks because it's coming up. I actually pulled out because my son has special needs, and it would be $1,200 a month to have somebody who doesn't have my credentials take care of my kid. So it just made sense to,
And who better to take care of your kid than you?
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Nick is being a good dad, guys. Yep, Nick is being a real good dad. But here is one of my favorite quotes from Stan Lee, whose birthday was yesterday. He said, "I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer, while other people were building bridges."
Let Randy read that, because he is the Stan Lee voice. Please read that, Randy.
I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer while other people were building bridges or going to medical careers. And then I began to realize entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. Without it, they might go off the deep end. I feel that if you're able to entertain people, you're doing a good thing.
Yes, you are. And we love this art form of comedy. Excelsior. We love
Stan the Man.
We love making comics for people. And last week we talked about something that's going on in our comic book community, our industry that we're part of.
Yeah.
About Aftershock Comics. Aftershock filed bankruptcy right before Christmas, and we found out that there was a great deal of people that were affected. Several of them independent creators that had created properties that were published by Aftershock or did work for Aftershock as freelancers and did not get paid, and have now been part of a File 13 bankruptcy in which they will not get paid. There were 200 plus creditors. A list that includes several dozen named comic creators, all of them awaiting a now deeply uncertain remuneration. Those creators had, in fact, been the source of the rumbling earlier in the month, which had begun, as so much in comics does, with a Twitter thread. The inciting action came from artist and writer Will Robson, who, on December 9th, posted a string of comments lamenting, in broad terms, what he sees as the broken payment system for freelancers in comics. And so this goes through the thread, and we actually have some things in the thread saved. And I want to go over that, and then I want to get into another thing that's going on. So here's the, let me stop sharing that screen and then start sharing.
It's literally, the guy was the kid in the crowd pointing at the emperor and saying that he's naked.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it was. And everybody else going, oh, look at the beautiful robes. That guy's naked.
Well, what I really like is the kind of snobbery that you watch with these pros that are out here like, well, I'm working in the mainstream. What are you doing? You know?
Oh, I've leveled up.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. So we get a lot of these people level up. And if you feel like we're calling you out because we're quoting leveled up, we probably are. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's not beat around the bush. We probably are. Because here's the thing, and I hear this a lot, level up, right?
Yep.
But right now, I think there's enough proof to say leveling up in a traditional sense is probably broken. It's not going to be the same that it was, nor should it be.
Tell me if this is too harsh, but level up equals, it's same as saying grab your ankles.
I think that's a fair assessment. I saved a number of tweets.
Yeah, join the human centipede.
Join the human centipede. Bunny, if you can cover comments for me while I'm doing this, I appreciate it.
I'm sorry. That got. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Darth Bunny showed up this morning. I apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, go.
But Bunny has access to the dashboard, so if you could pop the comments up,
okay. All right.
help me with that. So what I wanted to do is I want to go through a number of things that shows that this is not an isolated event, and that this is not just Aftershock Comics. That this is a problem that permeates the comic book publishing industry. It has become common practice. So this is a guy named Jan Marin. Publishers dragging their feet on payment is a systemic problem in comics, and I'm effing sick of it. I've had to take on some seasonal work in retail because of the financial lurch a book's payment issues has left me in, just before Christmas too, of all times to do it. This was in response to Will Robson asking, has it become industry standard to pay creators ridiculously late for their work? I'm struggling all year with all the large companies. He mentions it's all the large companies. Will Robson works for Marvel, DC, Aftershock, IDW, several of these different companies, but he says all of the large companies I work for to get paid on the agreed time. I'm talking months late. It's sad how nervous I am to even talk about this publicly, in fear of, and he goes on, that there's going to be repercussions and he won't get paid. See, that's the thing. People are so desperate to get into the industry, to level up, because they're told that's the only way to make comics, right?
No, it's their assumption. Their assumption that that's how you hit the quote big time in an industry that's ever shrinking. Yeah.
Yes.
It's to get with these companies.
Declan Shalvey says
no longer pay anybody.
This is long time coming. Some publishers really screwing creators over this year by paying them months late, if at all. Too many good people who are holding out on goodwill. Meanwhile, bills are stacking up. Results in a lot of great books getting cut off at the knees too. Joe, I'm going to mispronounce his name.
Quinones, probably. Quinones?
Yeah. Waited recently over a full year on a publisher before getting paid. And currently still awaiting payment. Run on 6 months now from a second prominent publisher who has largely ghosted me relating to 2 separate covers I crafted for them last summer. Charlie Olson says
he should be thankful that those were covers and not full books.
Right. The fact that creators have to voucher/invoice at all is ridiculous. I'm constantly chasing payment for my clients or reviewing work for hire vouchers, which at some pubs are short form contracts to sign. Such a convoluted system doesn't exist to make it easier to pay people on time. Declan again says this: the only thing that stopped me was that speaking up would affect friends who had their first big opportunities at these publishers. But there's even more they are even more vulnerable to this behavior at this stage. There's nothing to lose. That's the problem. Like,
they say there's a list
coming in
that some of these publishers have a priority list of who gets paid, and it's usually the bigger names or the loudest voices that get paid first, and then it all trickles down from there.
Ryan Kelly
I'm
says
sure.
it's no
I'm sure
longer
the
a
progressive
subtweet.
stack probably has something to do with it too.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, maybe just a bit.
The bigger names, the louder voices are the ones getting paid first.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly says it's no longer a subtweet to say companies are having trouble paying when it's a great majority of them. So it's not trouble paying, or maybe it is trouble paying. It could be an unwillingness to pay. Chainsaw Shan says you're unfortunately not alone. Currently dealing with this with an illustration job I did back in September, where they just didn't process my payment. We shouldn't have to hunt down the money we're owed. Joe Quiona says again, the first publisher I won't name because I believe it was an honest mistake. The second publisher is Valiant. Bloodshot and Archer and Armstrong covers. I did just over 6 months ago. No payment. Largely no correspondence except to kick the can down the road. We're working on this. Valiant, guys. Who owns Valiant?
Isn't it
Who
an
knows?
entertainment conglomerate right now?
I believe so.
Yeah. And it's not like they don't have pockets. And it's not like they haven't already gone through and done hardcore cost-cutting measures, because during the pandemic, they put their offices up for rent. You know, they let their lease go on their offices. They cut their publishing line down to 1 book a month, which ought to be an indication that they're a little strapped for cash.
It
Little
should
bit.
be, yeah.
And
Well
plus,
said,
they
well
had hired
said.
onto some of their staff for over a year.
They let a lot of their editorial, practically all of their executive people go.
Oh yeah.
But they were
At,
having trouble
Tress
before
Writers-
Antos come on board.
Yeah,
right.
True. At Tress Wright Stuff says, anyway, regarding Will and everyone else's very understandable hesitance to speak out about this, your reverence for the medium and often for pre-existing characters you hope you get to work on one day is leveraged against your concern for your well-being. And Will responds to this saying, well said, the middle of this past year, I was on a property I loved so much and was so afraid to keep asking about payment because I didn't want to lose the opportunity to continue to work on said property. It got so bad and so delayed that I finally put my foot down, and he continues on in that thread to say that he said, look, I can't work on this anymore until I get paid. I have to go find work somewhere else. And they finally paid him. Alex DeCampi says, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Hey, this is just new. Okay, this is affecting not just right, not just left. This affects everyone in the industry. Okay.
It's evidently affecting the deep, dark underbelly, the evil, vile pieces of crap that they're, have infested the industry and killed it. So
it is, but it's worth reporting.
Okay.
Not only
This
is
is
it worth
Aftershock
reporting,
Comics. They owe friends of mine tens
of thousands.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands.
And I've been doling out contact details for California lawyers for the arts like it was Christmas candy. This is shameful behavior, and people need to know also their rights deal sucks. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Most of them do. And here's information for people who want to do a class action. And there's the original tweet.
See,
I'm sure a lot of these companies are about to see a class action lawsuit spring up real quick for money owed.
Well, let me point out how vile this POS is. Okay, Alex DeCampi is one of the ones who oversaw the changes and enforced the changes with their little backroom mechanizations,
Whisper network,
and threats, and Whisper network, and
Yeah.
hit pieces have changed the industry to the point where it's in the decline. And now she's like, oh, well, they need, let me help with the lawsuits. I mean, how
she's
vile
part of the
and
reason
evil
why it's the way it is. Okay.
exactly.
Help
I'm not-
make it this way.
I'm not pointing fingers, but there's people out there dedicated to tearing this industry and this art form apart. That's their mission. That's their agenda. And they go out any way possible, any means necessary. And that's what you're seeing here. And so much of this industry is built on false ideas and fake facades. It's not how big you are, it's how big they think you are.
Yeah.
That just like Twitter, it doesn't. And the loud voices are the ones that get the attention. It's exactly the same way in the so-called mainstream direct market industry. You make a loud noise, you get that attention.
Yeah.
And that's really what this is all coming down to. There's a difference between those loud noises and what is actually happening and reality.
Right.
Charlie McFarlane says Action Lab continues to screw over its creators. So here's another one. Here's Action Lab. This is a pretty decent publisher.
There's a list. It's pretty much
list.
everybody. Yeah.
This guy has not seen a dime from the Citizen.
Despite being told the first issue was on course to completely sell out at stores. And again, it's perception. What does sell out mean? What was the print run? 500?
Right.
So, but here's the other thing. Sell out at stores. Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that the stores are selling out of their copies? How many copies did they buy?
No.
Because here's the problem. Or did they sell out of their stock to the stores?
Yeah.
And the
And that's
stores left
another-
with books that won't move.
That's another perception line when it comes to the direct market. The customers aren't the readers. That's been a big problem with the direct market since the 80s. The customers are the retailers who sell to readers. And you got too many middlemen sitting there. And when any of those middlemen end up being strapped for cash, like the retailers, like the distributors, like the publishers, it always goes and shifts down to the lowest on the paid totem pole. And that's the creators. The creators feel it first.
Absolutely.
And they feel it. They end up feeling it the hardest because they're the ones that get screwed over the most.
Well, there's one thing that just turns my stomach worse than anything, is these people who oversaw these changes in culture and forced them in a lot of ways by making people think that they were bigger than this constituency was bigger than it was.
Mm-hmm.
All the sound and fury, signifying nothing that they created that made these companies so terrified that they were going to get painted with these brushes, that they made these god awful changes that were destructive to their quality as a company. Hiring people through the door like Ta-Nehisi Coates and people like that who are just openly racist, and then putting them on Captain America. Making decisions like that, and then these very same journalists and editors and people behind the scenes that made these decisions are now like saying, look how these fat cats aren't paying the workers. And they are the very thing that made these changes, that brought this paradigm in that basically threw away all of the long-term readers and all the fans that had devoted their lives to this medium and loved these IPs, loved these characters and would have bought and backed and supported it all the way to their last days.
Again, any means necessary.
By any means,
any way that they can tear up this industry, that's what they're out to do.
And now
It's
they're
that simple.
overseeing its demise as a news that and like tearing out the carcass like carrion.
I hate to say it. If we have to separate the industry from the media and art form. Okay, the system that the comic book industry has been propped on for a very long time is failing. It is failing because it did not support the foundation. At the end of the day, you don't an individual can make a comic. Okay, a creative individual can. It may not be perfect. You know, we've all got the one-man band guys who they make comics. Bless their heart, they make comics. They might not be good, but they make comics. But and if you want, you need the big wig who has the money to say, okay, I have the money to get this out there. But you don't need all these people who are in between, leeching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to put it that way, but you have all these layers of people between making a good product and getting a good product out there that exist solely to, I mean, like it's the American office system. It's bigger than comics. It's just shattering because in 2020, when everybody went home and, you know, a bunch of people worked from home, you know what they found out? The people who work, they do the work, they send it up to one boss. Guy goes, it's done. If the work isn't done, they go, that's the one who's not working. Let's find out what's wrong. There's no stealing credit. There's no inter-office manipulation. There's no social networking to get the gig you want. You do the job, you get paid. This is a simple, I mean, I have no tattoos. I don't intend to get tattoos, but danged if it doesn't, I do the job, I get paid. Just tempts me sometimes in like freaking impact font, you know? There's a part of me that would put it on my bloody forehead just so that people understand. I don't ask much.
So
you know?
I have something to add to
Please
this.
do.
So I don't want to say it's another angle. It's almost like another aspect. But
Yes.
for far too long, especially because I would even say because of this boom that happened during COVID, there was a speculator boom and all these people coming out and they're buying these comics. Initially, it was because the shows were coming out and things were going to be popular and this and that. Of course, never. I think part of that's starting to implode because the shows wound up being trash. But still, there's still people speculating. And what they're doing is they're buying these comic books thinking that they're going to be worth something. They're throwing them in a slab. And so what they're doing is they're treating them like they are trading cards instead of comic books. And so these comic book companies are just throwing anything in the books that have no substance that, you know, because they realize that there's only a certain segment of the population that's actually reading the comic books. The rest of them are just speculators throwing them in a daggum CGC slab and, you know, putting them on a shelf for, you know, maybe sometime in the future, the comic's going to appreciate and, you know, by the thousands of %.
So the only reason it will appreciate is if the people that do read it enjoy it.
Correct. But see, there's that disconnect. See, but what they're doing is it's almost like the NFT thing. They're convincing people. It's a con game. You know, it's you know, if you can convince enough people that this is valuable, then, you know, they've already made their money and then they're gone.
Well, these guys over here are talking about the Valiant movie Bloodshot and how horrible it was.
It was garbage.
Yeah, Bat in the Sun. It's a group on that did the death matches or whatever. Did cosplay death matches actually, and they put a movie together of the Valiant universe. It was a story about it was Ninjak, like trying to save this kidnapped little girl by, you know, carrying something to the, you know, the end target. And he went all the way through the Valiant universe, and including all their big IPs were represented by these people, and they were all like true to the characters, right? They even had the guy that just passed away that was the Green Ranger. His name escapes me.
Yes.
Yeah, but he was in that, and
David Frank.
Yeah, and the acting was spotty. The special effects were, you know, amateurish, but it had that thing, that spark people who truly love comics making something that they love. and in love for these characters, and they were true to the characters.
The passion
and
shows,
that was,
man.
yeah, and it was far more entertaining than that god awful movie was. I mean, Van Diesel walking around with the same, constipated expression, through one.
I think that's
special
why I'm
effect
so
after
upset
another,
about Henry Cavill losing the Superman role,
Yeah.
because he cared
Yeah.
about Supes. He cared about
Absolutely.
playing Geralt. He cared about these roles, and they've pushed him out.
And now they're smearing him.
Wait, guys, you just hit the perfect parallel for what's going wrong here and what happened with Henry Cavill. Our boy Henry went, okay, I'm not going. He's going to wind up his role on Witcher. It's going to be awesome, from what I'm hearing. They don't want me to be Supes. They're bouncing me around. I've got enough money. I'm doing the 40K thing. So what Henry freaking Cavill did, a nerd's nerd, someone I respect, went out and said, this system isn't working. I'm going to do my own thing. Now, I believe every one of these artists should get paid. The company owes them hard stop. They did the job. They need the money. But there's a temptation here to both, as the guys who are independent, revel in the suffering of others and say, see, we see that. That is not the route we as independent creators should be taking. We should be reaching out to this list of guys. Okay? As soon as Fund My Comic gets popped where it should be, Luke should be reaching out. You have an IP, you want to get it crowdfunded, come talk to me. We should be just pulling and embracing them, because the field of comics is shifting from this is guy just been watching it to the you do your own. You crowdfund it to get the money. You set up a store. Eventually, there's going to be the right print-on-demand place. I don't know which one it is yet, but eventually there will be the right print-on-demand supplier.
We'll get
for comics. And when we find the right one, distribution's going to be direct. It's going to be by fans, for fans.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, I've been talking. That is a future phase of Fund My Comic. Wants to take that on.
And you go back in comic history to the distribution angle. That's why the direct market started in the first place.
Yep.
It was a bunch of fans that got together and decided that they could distribute comics out to whatever retail outlets they can find for the fans to read. And that's, they weren't out to destroy the newsstand. They wanted to make their own avenue in order to get that guarantee that they could get those books that they wanted to read. Because at that point, a lot of these comics were being almost shadow banned directly. Books like Captain Marvel and Killraven, some of the more obscure Marvels and DCs were getting harder and harder to find. There was a real big push around Howard the Duck #1. If you go back that far and take a look, and how difficult that book was to be found, because the speculator market had already sprung up, and a lot of these distribution houses weren't exactly the most professional, shall we say. And there were speculators even back then who took bundles of that book and warehoused them. So in order to get around that, they started the direct market and started appealing to head shops and other retailers, which most of these retailers started out back in the 80s and the late 70s as comic fans, hardcore comic fans that really just wanted to read books. And if they could sell them and make a living at it, that was great to be in the hobby and to be able to make a living at it. Right. That's really the whole point of the alternative market and the indie market as well. These creators are just out here want to do what they love, and if they can make a living at it, that's a bonus. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to support.
That's right. Yeah.
History repeats itself. I love having Randy around.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
And because history's repeating itself, we can look at it and we say, Randy, what happened next? I go, okay, it's going to be technologically different. I think there's still going to be a digital market we need to keep apprised of and support. But the comics will always be niche. And I've said almost my whole comic life, as long as I've loved comics, I've noticed that the speculators ruin it.
I really don't. Well, it's a topic for another time and another show, probably. I don't see it going that way. I think somebody's out there that's going to make comics accessible again. Whether some big millionaire is going to come out and go, that Shonen Jump it makes a lot of money.
Yep.
Doing a really inexpensive format that a lot of people love to read. And if we kick that out for a couple of years, we're going to build a hardcore fan base, just like what Marvel did in the past, just like Shonen Jump has done, just like all of these. There's examples out there of great publishers that spring out of not being the most expensive book in the house, but being the least expensive
a new black
and most
and white
accessible.
Renaissance.
Well, I think what we're dealing with
modern publishing, I don't even think you're going to see that. But in my honest opinion, I do think the digital market is so spoiled. I don't think you're going to see it come out of digital. I really don't. I think you're going to see it come out of physical.
Well, I think honestly, and I've said this on my show a few times now, that the next Eastman and Laird is in the wings. The next Billy Tucci is in the wings.
Well, those are going to be really hard to spot. Because the visibility is hindered right now on our market.
Agreed. But I think honestly, the infrastructure is what.
Funny. You just dropped two names, or groups of names that. It's important not to presume that people know who the blood-soaked Protestant hell you're talking about. So,
another Nickism. Eastman and Laird, they did Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Billy Tucci.
She.
S-H-I. She.
Yeah. And completely outside the industry with no industry help.
Take a look at the niche market that Tucci has built up over the last 7-8 years. Just amazing. Same thing with Polito.
So
Ryan Polito.
Keep an eye out for Sweet and Stone. Throwing the stake in the ground right now.
I think there's a openness, a wide openness out there to make a format that's totally accessible, and I think Peter Simeti was right. He just hasn't pursued it. There's a valuable venue out there in those dollar stores. It just has to be tapped.
Luke, would you like to field this one? Because
and I know this is going to be a question I'm going to get a lot because I've already gotten a lot. The benefit of using a platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo is that it is a one-stop shop for multiple titles, so you can kind of discover new things.
Yeah,
you can browse and discover new things. Right now, what's happening with Indiegogo was that for people. That's why they kept their product on demand on there instead of going to their own store. And most of us have that. The problem with going to your own store is you have to generate all of the traffic yourself, and chances are it's going to be difficult to have that organic growth that you normally would, unless your main audience comes from a YouTube. Okay, now if you're a YouTuber and that's where your audience comes from, you probably don't need Fund My Comic or Indiegogo or Kickstarter. You don't need one of those. If you currently don't need an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter campaign to make your money on your comic, then you're not going to need Fund My Comic. But if you can benefit from these two platforms already, then that's why you're going to use this. The second reason why, this is a 2% platform fee for us to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Okay? You're going to be able to go in there and make a campaign very, very easily. In fact, Todd and I are going to be, we're waiting for when we're going to have a video conference for admins, for just a few admins of the site, to go through that process, and they're making videos to show how to make up your own campaign. So this is all material that we're going to be showing here very soon, and we're very excited about it. we don't have a date yet, and so that's why I hesitate to talk about it. But we're just waiting on these kind of materials, and it's going to be easy. So we're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and
Tank Ferret there I'm sorry to change the subject, but Tank Ferret's remark about IDW being in $1.04 current, they have to be above $1 within once every 30 days, or they're delisted as a stock. So you're seeing what in my opinion, a little bit of artificial push there in order to keep them above $1.
That's very possible. But I think the truth is, you may not need Fund
once
My
they're
Comic.
delisted, they might end up like Aftershock, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But you may not need Fund My Comic, and if you don't, then that's fine. Fund My Comic is for the people that are that really need it. They want a platform where they can keep most of their money. They have more freedom on how they present their work, and they are listed with other campaigns, so that there is a natural flow of organic growth, and that's why we want to do it. Because I've originally, when I had the idea, I was just going to crowdfund from my own website, and it just worked out. Bunny's partly responsible for encouraging me to go bigger, Luke, and I'm like, yeah, why not?
Well, let me give this illustration I think fits. Okay, you say you have a superhighway, and superhighway is customers in comics. Okay, customers looking for comics. That's the superhighway. Okay, now, the only way that you get traffic if you got a store is to get somewhere near that highway where you're visible, somewhere where somebody can see you. If you're a big box store, you don't have that problem because you're visible to everybody. You can have the signage and things like that.
People look for Walmart. They don't look for an Ollie's right away. They certainly don't look for T Bunny's comic and video game emporium.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, simplifying.
No. Anyway, so basically, now if you're big enough, like you're a Walmart, you can like move that big store over here to be on its own, and people will still move to where you are. Okay. Yeah. But if you're one of those smaller stores that gather around where a Walmart is, have you ever seen a shopping center when one of the big box store moves out?
Yep.
Do you see how it dries up? We had our Walmart moved off by itself to a big super Walmart and left the store for the shopping center that grew up around them behind. The next thing you know, it was being used for storage. And then this Midwest chain store called we'd never heard of, called Rural King comes in.
I love Rural King.
Rural King's wool.
Yeah, and so Rural King comes in, and I drove by there, and this is less than 4 years later, maybe 5, I don't know, but it's less than 5 years, and there is somebody in every single storefront in that shopping center. It went from being used for storage to having somebody in every storefront. So the proximity, smaller campaigns and bigger campaigns being on the same road is vitally important for smaller campaigns to get looked at and to get traffic. Okay, because they can't draw it themselves, and that is why having a big centralized location point that everyone can go to and they can. And we're going to be able to add things onto Fund My Comics that I'm not revealing anything that I know, but that hasn't already been revealed. But there's going to be things on Fund My Comic that is going to be like buy one back one hashtag that we created. Okay, that if you like this big guaranteed comic over here, then maybe you'll like this in the same genre.
Check this one out too. Yeah,
it's called suggestive selling. They do it all. It's simply, you ever go to a supermarket where you're checking out something? Oh, you like that? We have this on sale.
Right. Exactly.
It's the same reason why certain times of the year you find sweet potatoes right by the turkeys, right by the broccoli, and it's all they move the store around a little bit to make you go, oh yeah, I need this for Thanksgiving. the thing that people forget is business practices do not change for the industry at a certain level. At a certain level, it's about gaining customers. It's about finding a niche that needs to be served and filling it. And that's what I think Fund My Comics is angled at, a very specific area. It's a great starting place for let's put this. I have an idea or two to do some comics. Yes, me as in Nick Talker Roundup doing comics. Not ready yet because my quality isn't there yet. But it's something I'm working on. I could then take that, because I don't have a big enough following myself to do it and make money. And I really don't trust Kickstarter or Indiegogo because of my associations. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. I've supported people. My online presence is almost universally positive. If I'm negative, it's about somebody who's hurting somebody else or something like that. I'm not negative. And Hybrids RPG has been shadow banned.
Shadow banned.
Now, part of that is largely Luke has a reputation, and part of it because I suspect they're targeting CG related people.
Well, my reputation's not a negative one. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I'm known for being a pretty decent guy. So
right,
for the most
part.
So
what is it? They're probably targeting the hashtag CG folks, which I
don't even fly that hashtag.
I know,
right? So I mean, it's so odd. But here, I want to get back to the question.
These things can be radioactive, and it's not right. And that's the fact that somebody can get labeled and shunned for a tertiary association means we need safe places.
And that kind of goes into the second question that was asked. I don't know if you can put that back up or not, but the second question that was asked was, how are you going to get traffic to the site? 2% is great. Well, a couple of ways. I mean, traffic to the site is going to come from the people that use the site. So initially, it's going to be important for people to use it. We are looking and talking to a couple of more well-known creators that need the site because it's an actual free speech space. Okay, it is either you're banned for breaking the law, or it's freedom. That's the difference. I mean, that's what it is. We're not going to have people can hate me and still use the website. That's fine. They can have an anti-Luke as long as they don't defame my character or incite violence. Guess what? They can have I Hate Luke comic book on the Fund My Comic website. It does not matter to me, because it's only. But a lot of creators are going to use this because it's a 2% platform fee. People are going to go to it for that because they're saving 3%, and that makes a big deal. The second thing is the user interface is going to be a lot more user friendly. It's going to be geared so that you can set up your campaigns more like you would if you had a store. So it's going to be more flexible for you. And so the platform is going to want to, it lends itself to comic book creators and ease of use for them. So comic book creators and game developers are going to want to use the site. Traffic will come to the site because people use the site. If people don't use the site won't grow. Plain and simple. So we're making the site in such a way to where it encourages people to use it, and that's where the growth will come from. And then we're going to promote it like crazy, and people will start talking about it. And I think I think that once the community, independent comics gets behind it, it'll be awesome. And of course, there's going to be people that don't want anything to do with it, but you know what? Yeah, screw those people.
And that's the thing. There's no harm. Okay, if you don't want to work with me, I don't need your money.
What was that last comment?
That's one of the great policies I have. If you don't like,
you're taking him down too fast for me, Bunny. What was that last comment?
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Tell me how much you hate me while using my site. Yeah, basically, I don't care.
The Elon Musk method. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I should not have said that. It was funny, but
it was funny, and I like that method. It works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's interesting because Omer Glitch. I hope I'm saying your name right. said, you have good art and decent spelling. Stop playing it safe. Luke isn't playing it safe. In fact, this is one of those things I applaud. Luke looked up, because I sat there, and he looked up how to do the Google Direct, I could do the forms to sell from my own self. And he had that choice. And instead of taking that choice and doing, I'm going to do this, which would be a lot simpler, it'll make me mine, and I don't have to worry about it. That's not how Luke thinks. It's far too sane. Love you, brother. But Luke does not work on that level. Luke went, wait a second. I'm having this problem. They're stepping up. Screw you guys. I'm going to build my own. And then, he's not worrying about getting out of his own hole or building himself up. He's like, no, I'm setting something so I can reach down to you, little guy. Hey, little guy. Yeah, you want to try your first one? Try it here. Let's get you. Sometimes you need shallow water to learn to swim in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Blue Teddy gets it. The platform doesn't care if you're CG or not. The people that will moderate it and own, we don't care if you're CG or not. We care if you want to make great comics. We're going to be there to help you make sure that your campaign looks good and will be successful. We don't want you to fail. We want you to succeed. We want you to make money, because we don't make money unless you make money. And I'll be honest with you, we took a great deal of our own money to build this thing. I'm not building it personally. I don't know how to do that crap. We're paying a developer who has done this kind of stuff for ages, who knows what they're doing, who's trained people.
The guys who built the Rippaverse website were trained by this guy. They learned from this guy. So he went to the OG.
I don't know if that's true. I didn't hear that, but I guess
that's what Ray Haylock said. That's what Ray Haylock said.
Oh, okay. Well, if Ray said that, then that's what it is. Yeah, because Ray's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. Yeah, Ray Haylock's involved with this. It's going to be great. But here's the deal: crowdfunding is the future for some people, but I think it's got to elevate and evolve past crowdfunding. We see Will Robson had the answer here on October 17th. Obviously, December 6th is when he vented about not getting paid. Clearly, it had been months. He said he had to work other jobs, and he's struggling. Here he decided, look, passion project, something I'm passionate about, and something I'm going to get paid for on my own. So he decided he's going to run his own campaign in March of 2023. I think you're going to see a lot of people leaving the mainstream or leaving the leveled up. Okay? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Leaving the leveled up to come slum it down here with the crowdfunding indies, because there's a more stable future and stable paycheck in crowdfunding than there is in waiting for payment from these larger publishers right now. And if you don't believe me, then let me get to this. Let me get to our next bit of news here. I've got another article for you that you might be interested in. This one is even more interesting to me because this is a property that should be making money hand over fist with little to no effort, but is so poorly managed that it is not.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy Metal Magazine is having difficulty paying the bills. This is an article by bleedingcool.com. It's a news source that I do enjoy, and I do recommend that you go there and subscribe to them and check them out. This article is by Richard Johnson, and this was published on December 20th, so recently. So recently, the publisher Heavy Metal outsourced the publication rights of the long-standing Heavy Metal magazine to Whatnot Publishing, including, for the first time, the magazine's history, relaunching with a Volume 2 and new number 1. But what else is going on in the publisher that might have led to such a move? It goes on to say down here that, let me find that section. I don't know it as well as I would like here.
While you're looking for that, I just want to say, in my opinion, starting over with a new number 1 gives people an excuse to stop collecting you.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
And Isn't that a mistake so many comics have made?
Too many.
I mean, I hate to say it because heavy metal used to mean something.
But again, you're dealing with a customer, a retail customer that has thrived on number ones since its inception. So it's like, haha, fooled you. But the actual reader, the collector, you give them an excuse to stop buying your product.
Mm-hmm. You
It's
hurt
almost
the
like
exclusivity.
circulation works for magazines too. Oh, I'm sorry.
So here's the quote. So we've reached out to Heavy Metal and heard from Matt Medney, CEO of Heavy Metal, who told us via Whatnot Publishing that due to a sum of receivables not being collected on time, that means distributors not paying them, our payments to creators have slipped further than what's acceptable. Luckily, we have a dedicated and committed investor group whose support is allowing us to pay all creators before Christmas while we catch up on our invoicing. So folks, here's the news. Yeah, let's applaud Heavy Metal Magazine for first off saying, look,
we need
the
to put as
creators
much
come first.
positive toward these people nutting up and doing the job and keeping to their contracts and paying the people who let them have a business, as we give the attention to those swinehards who want to rip off, hardworking creators. Because heavy metal has been a place of innovation and creativity and, yes, mature content and controversy for decades, but it deserves respect for what it is and how it's being handled. That's a class act.
Yeah, well, they also started putting clothing on their sexy chicks on the cover, and started blasting toxic masculinity about a couple years ago.
Wait a second.
Oh, by the way, this article
down
by
your
Rich
fan base?
Johnson, who doesn't know how to put his shoes on in the morning without making a twist towards the left. So who the hell knows if this is true or not? So there you go.
You know what? I might have gotten banned for that, but I'll be honest with you. Rift Riders is still on there. That has not been shadow banned. Rift Riders is still up. Only Hybrids has been hit. Okay. So
could it be for the sudden gore?
I don't think. I mean,
No. I genuinely wonder because.
But I didn't put any of the gore in the campaign. I even blurred the cover.
No, but what I'm saying is, if they found out, if this is back, because I've been trying to think of a possible. I don't agree with this. This is me being red team, so clarify that.
Yeah.
Because Hybrids has a consistent feel. Most of Hybrids feels like the Claremont era X-Men, and it feels like a universe adjacent to the X-Men cartoon. When you look at the levels of violence,
yeah, it's definitely 80s and 90s
content.
X-Men kind of.
However, every once in a while, Luke gets a wild hair up, and I did wonder and warn him about a certain scene. Wow, did you go too far with this? Because it was so outside the tonal of everything else.
Are you talking about issue 5?
I'm talking about issue 5. I'm genuinely wondering. I think I think it's BS.
Dismembering somebody, it's a little
vivisecting. The word you're looking for
vivisecting.
Is
I'm sorry,
vivisecting. I was trying not to do too much of a spoiler for the folks foolish enough not to have already read it, because I will say that traumatized me on a level that I haven't hit since I was a little kid, and I thought Event Horizon was going to be a Star Trek style movie.
So you haven't seen 9 yet?
I know.
Yes.
I know. I've seen.
Yeah.
So good.
I haven't seen 9 yet. I'm fearing it.
You should.
Oh, really? You haven't seen it?
Yeah, yours is going in the mail today. I had to wait on a couple of books. It was just a little slower coming.
I thought we were talking about the movie.
No.
Wait,
no,
somebody's
Hybrid's
talking
9. I'm
very,
weird.
very softly.
It's really good. It's really
is that
good.
Justin?
Really, really good.
Yeah. So
Justin, you might need to turn your mic up. It was super soft.
Yeah. Stern wires. Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry. I just because I want to hear what you have to say. All I heard, yeah, it's super.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're a bit better.
So, I thought you were talking about 9 the movie.
Oh,
It's
okay.
9.
No.
9 the movie is good, but it's not a kids movie.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So-
Hybrid's number 9. That's what
And
I'm
it-
talking about.
yeah.
All of
That-
the books are
It's good,
available
but it's
on
not
my
a kid's
website
stuff.
right now. You can go to lukestonestudios.com and buy all 9, or you can go to arrowcomics.store and buy the books as well. I still have to stick number 9 over there, but it is going to be available in there. I just haven't. You can get the Chris Scalf cover through arrowcomics.store if you missed out on it. You cannot get the Preston Acevedo cover at all unless you get it from me directly at a con or in a future campaign. And the standard cover is available on my website right now. So so it is available. You know what? This is the 4th campaign for the Killing Field that I've ran. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's that.
No, it's
I
not
mean,
that.
I mean, yeah, it is. It could be the fact that I'm doing Fund My Comic. But because there's so many other shadow bans of people that I know and am associated with, it just seems fishy.
Okay,
you know?
Omer Glitch, let me clarify something here. There was a campaign that I'm aware of called Magnificent Bastards, okay? And the page that they told him got him shadow banned, and they held his funds for a while until he fixed this page, right? And it was a kid stabbing another kid with a pencil because he was bullying him. He's defending himself, okay? Now, later on in that same campaign, there was a samurai that was like killing kids with a samurai sword like they're wheat, like he was threshing wheat. That's in the same campaign. That they didn't bat an eye at that. So this is not like an arbitrary thing. This is not like, oh, you broke terms of service, because they're allowing other things on that same website that are egregiously against their terms of service, and they're
Are they
allowing it.
allowing child infliction of violence?
Yes.
That's
yes.
what.
And so no, this is not us. This is not somebody breaking terms of service. It's not the way somebody's lettering. It's not some images that are in the campaign. This is deliberate. This is focused, and this is somebody doing it manually. So
there is now. This is just hearsay, because I have heard
Objection.
from someone that has a friend at Indiegogo that works there.
Yeah.
So they got insider information, but it is not being. They don't want to give proof because they will know where the proof came from, and it will mean their job. And there's maybe somebody else that will put this out, but they are specifically. Someone is specifically going after conservative creators, and specifically anyone that has any association with Comicsgate, and they know that there is proof that is happening, but to give that proof would mean to be unemployed, and probably worse, probably have a lawsuit against them. Mm-hmm. So that's why we haven't seen it yet, but I think all of us that are a part of that, we see the connection. You know, when a book like Frog G gets shadow banned, it can't be for really anything else than just the political association.
No.
So it's very difficult to try to even I guess look for.
Aaron, you are admonished. You are admonished for this comment. Shame on you.
Yeah. What I was saying is it's very difficult to even try to advocate for them doing the right thing, or like try to justify the shadow bans at this point. For me, anyway. But that's just kind of where I'm at. And yeah, Gabe is suing everybody. I kind of called. I'm not even going to get into that. Not going to get into that. The point is,
yes, please.
we
for
do
the
need to call
foulest
out
call
good
that is
things in the
good
industry
bully,
that's
don't
happening.
Engage the person who is suing everybody. If
Yeah.
they are doing that, let them do that for whatever reasons. I know nothing. I have no judgment on it other than I would hands off and let them do whatever they're doing. Sorry.
Well, let me just say that this heel turn was not surprising to everybody. I'll just say that. All right.
Yeah. There were people that saw it coming, if you will. They expected it. So,
I want to ask a dumb question that's been bothering me.
Okay.
And it's been bothering me since this shadow ban business started. Okay? How stupid do you have to be to engage in a contract with somebody? You get money if they make money, right? It is a conditional contract. It is a proportionate, right? And then not like I'm going to shoot them to keep them from making money, so I don't make money. All politics, all just stopping the politics and thought and all the other stuff, just basic economics. They set up Indiegogo to basically to be an opposite of Kickstarter, another kind of thing, and then they stopped wanting to make money. Like I'm really waiting for someone high enough up in Indiegogo
glad to have you here, buddy.
who has the money. Hi, Kat. That's Rock and Roll Art Goddess. She's amazing. But they want to make money from creators making money. Why aren't they going, yes, I want to make money. You want to make money. Boom.
Here's the rumor why. It doesn't make sense, but here's the rumor why.
Sure.
That some SJW type creators went on Indiegogo and their campaigns didn't do as well as they wanted them to. Some of them failed. And so their response is, if we can get rid of all the CG books, then we can make some money. Because they think that it's a matter of the audience seeing us, not the fact that our books are good and better. Because I want to tell you right now, if you go to arrowcomics.store and buy any one of those books, it's going to be better than what you get from Marvel and DC right now. Because the writers were passionate, the artists were passionate, and it's damn good stories. Okay, it's good stuff, and
I'm glad
that's where the fans are going. They don't care about someone's political affiliation. They care about good storytelling and entertainment, because that's what it's all about. We can make money as artists in a lot of other areas, way more money than doing comic books, but we love comic books, so we make them, and that's why we do it, and the fans appreciate that. And what happens is they come onto those platforms and they realize how subpar their content is, because they're trying to push their politics or their weird religions or their whatever. You know what? I'll tell you right now, if you haven't, and I'm a Christian, but if you have a Christian comic book, you're not going to make a lot of money on it. You're not. We got several Christians on the panel here, and we'll tell you, if you make a Christian comic book, it's not going to make a lot of money, because people don't really like to be preached to, and they feel like a book that's like that is going to preach to them. I'm telling you, what they're learning is that they are preaching their agendas in their books, and people just don't want to be told how bad they are. That's why when Heavy Metal puts out an article about toxic masculinity, who is your audience? It's men who are masculine, and right now in our culture, any masculinity is toxic. The only people that can be masculine and it not be toxic is women.
Well, Nick, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why would Gillette put out a commercial designed to tick off the people who buy the razors?
Well, actually, I found out the reason for that.
They don't.
I
have
found
some
out
razors.
the reason for that.
Please share.
Because they were being artificially paid by some. I'm horrible with letters. It was like an ESU or something.
ESG.
And it explains because what happened is a whole bunch of people got in the industry. And I want to say this because, and this may be the token liberal speaking, I do believe in my heart of hearts that was done with positive intention.
Oh, I believe that too.
I do believe that system was set up, and the idea of promoting diversity and promoting strong women characters and promoting different perspectives is both valid and important. However, what happened is that got handled by corporate people who couldn't write, and they handled it very ham-fistedly. They took a zero-sum approach because that was the easiest, fastest way to do it, which was if you want to build somebody up, you tear down somebody else. That's a zero-sum. When I say zero-sum approach, it means the absolute value doesn't change. So to make a powerful female character, you have to take the powers from a male character, which is lazy. It's the same. It's very similar. I've seen it in reverse for years, where you'll have a wonderful version of it in reverse is the second season of Buck Rogers. I'm being real geeky here, but bear with me. I need this time. In the first season of Buck Rogers, Erin Gray, one of the great loves of my early life, played Colonel Wilma Deering, and she was a bad mofo in her little white spandex suit and helmet. We all of us men of a certain age can see her walking down with the blaster on her hip, about to tell off Buck for running off, And she was in charge of Earth Defense. She was, a competent fighter pilot. She was a formidable woman, and I loved that character. And then you hit season 2, and suddenly she's in a Sailor Girl suit, bringing coffee to some admiral and sitting at a terminal that really doesn't do anything. They took her from almost being Starbuck.
She was a horde.
To a herd, yes. And it wasn't right. And I remember going, what happened to her? Suddenly she's the screamer. Now the Halloween episode was great. I loved the Space Vampire episode. It was memorable. But other than that, that was never who the character was. That was wrong. And a lot of feminists and egalitarians and folks went, see, that's drivel. The problem is, if you reverse something that's drivel, you still it's still drivel. What? Yes, put her in her place. God damn it.
I love some of the sarcastic humor that comes across.
See, my problem is I have lost faith in humanity enough where I have to go, are you being sarcastic? Or,
oh my God.
Are you sarcastic? Are you a misplaced dom? Or are you an incel? Because I don't know where on the spread of things that this individual may be.
If they found their way to Nerd Bacon, just assume they're sarcastic.
I pray in my heart you are, because... Okay, good. That's all I needed to know. Because you're new, and I've made the mistake of thinking somebody was sarcastic and then carefully watch them dig the hole of douchebaggery. Where it's like, no, really, I think this,
Man, I've got to listen to this episode again and just dig out all of the Nickisms, the Talkisms. They're just he's just like
to the
knocking
whole
them out of the park.
Now, see, Joe Bachman. Joe Bachman is one of my best friends in the universe. He and Trey are basically family. You know what I mean? Trey's short for Trelana, his wife.
Yeah. I
never have to. It's the internet. That's the thing. I used to, George Carlin says never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups, or large groups of stupid people. I'm dyslexic. I juggle things around. You know what I mean?
Stupid people.
But what happened is Marvel, especially, DC kind of went a different route when they pushed their diversity initiative, but Marvel literally went, "Here's a diversity initiative." They handled some things right. They pushed Black Panther, who's a neat character who could be done neat things, but then they had the whole Love and Thunder. They stripped down a lot of characters. They did things to Captain Marvel. I'll say thank you, Kat. I absolutely support that. But and all they did is
You did unspeakable things.
Unspeakable
things.
Unspeakable. Yes, I'm talking about that side shave. Anyway, but
That's what she said.
figure out
That
why.
jumpsuit just flattened her butt right up. There you go.
And
Feathery hair.
Not that she had one to start with.
yeah, it's fun as
Hey,
a girl
now.
sorting out the ones that are kidding and the ones because if you
I
get
could have used
no,
bustiated.
but,
You know, bustiated.
Teddy, not only are you right, I will tell this as a guy, I have encountered similar problems because people have mistaken the fact that people are so rude. Okay, let me explain. People are so rude this day and age that when I'm being polite, people think I'm flirting with them, regardless of orientation.
Damn.
And I
Well, that's just that animal masculinity, man. Just-
And
I
now it's
know I'm a
animal.
sexy beast. Okay, there's some people who see the Samwise Gamgee school of I know I got it. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Mr. Gandalf, I'm not dropping any knees.
Hey, have you seen? Think about the end of the Hobbit movie. Look at Sam's wife. He did okay.
I'll be
by
right
that.
behind you, Mr. Frodo.
Yeah,
No,
know.
that's what he said.
that's what the sheep said. No. Anyway.
God.
That was a terrible joke. I'm so.
What a story, Mark.
But
I think we just hit a new low.
I try.
I think
I
we
try.
bounced off the
Hey,
bottom.
I thought this was about leveling up. I guess we failed.
Now I'm gonna clip that. That's gonna be one of our clips that I play. I think we just hit a new low.
That's a good one. But and you still need to clip.
We
the
got to the
Firefly.
bottom,
I
and
get
now we're
it. Job, I
digging.
get
We're
paid.
digging now. We're digging.
Yeah.
But
I wanna create a super villain who carries around with him a hole of douchebaggery.
oh my
I
god!
love it.
Just like Yellow Submarine. Poof, poof. Fall into my hole of douchebaggery. That would be
No,
awesome.
I mean, here's the thing. Most of the people that I know actually do enjoy diversity. They enjoy strong female characters. They enjoy people of color, which still sounds very racist to say that. It just sounds like calling colored people backwards.
But not colored people.
I don't
people
like
of
it.
color.
Yeah, I don't like it. It feels awkward to me. But you know, let's say people of different ethnicities. I mean, I've never had a problem with those things. I mean, I did have a crush on Storm. When I started reading the X-Men, Storm was the leader of the X-Men.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was not weird to me.
She was it Gold Team or Blue Team? I can't remember.
I can't remember. She was had the mohawk and was in
Australian
leather.
Outback.
God, man,
Chris
the
Claremont
worst one.
did more for diversity and inclusion than what freaking Marvel has done the last 10 years.
Damn right. 100%.
All
the
in the
best-
X-Men, all perfectly well done, all human sounding,
Mm-hmm.
and character building.
Yeah.
And they all need to go back and read that stuff. Well, they never will, but
It's all
because
about
they
story.
think they know better, and just old stuff. They all need to go back and see how a professional did it. That's what they need
Well,
to do.
They're even
And
going after
my favorite
Chris
writer
now.
is Weezy Simonson. Weezy Simonson's my favorite writer of all time.
Okay,
Chris is a he's a left-leaning guy, and even comic tropes guy. That bonehead, man, I used to like that guy until he got stupid. But that guy was going after him from things he was saying on a panel that were perfectly legitimate because
Well,
the
heaven
state
forbid
of
you have
comics
an
today
opinion.
is. Yeah. Oh, he had an opinion that
An
wasn't like-
educated opinion, heaven forbid.
Yeah, right. Because he didn't say, well, everything that everyone's making is great and I like it and I'm in support. He was like, no, some of this, this stuff is drivel. Because this is a guy that knows how to write a comic book and he did a really good job writing stories that.
Yes.
Look, I say this all the time. Comics made me, and now I get to make comics.
Yes.
I have a love and appreciation for it.
The way I
24
look
says I
at
had
it
a
is
print-on-demand
comics.
idea.
Comics kept me sane at a time when I could have really turned and gone in a crazy loop a couple of times, actually. So it's up to us to make sure comics stay sane.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a
and
cool
be
idea,
the
24
entertainment
Eyes.
vehicle that we know.
Technology might get us to that point soon.
Yep.
So, well, I mean, it's not even that we have I used to work in a print shop. There are self-collating printers. You can. I mean, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to walk into the back, load a bunch of paper, load a bunch of staples, load a bunch of ink. Yes, this right here. I've been waiting all episode for him to run this. This is a brilliant take, and I am so glad that T-Bunny especially is in the chat for this one.
All right,
Because
so
this is pause worthy.
Yep.
So we're
X
talking about the
Factor, baby.
love of this industry and the love of comics and the art form and the medium. This was filmed in, I think, 1970 or somewhere in the 70s. It might have been closer to the
People
end
used
of the
to
decade.
draw comics with ties on. How amazing!
Yeah.
Wow.
So this love and passion I want to show you. This is what the people on this panel and the people on this panel associate with feel for comics. We don't want to see publishers not pay creatives. We don't want to see people working for the distributors. We want to see the distributors working for the people. That's what we want to see. We want readers to enjoy the books. I could give no cares at all about a speculator. In fact, speculators tick me off. I don't like them. We were at a con, and Randy will tell you this. We had a guy come up to the table, over at Randy's table, and he was talking speculation about things. And Justin, you were there, and I'm seething as he's talking. Justin's like, "What's going on, man?" I'm like, "I can't stand that guy. I just want to punch him in the face." Why? I said, listen to him talk. He's a speculator. They are what's wrong with comics. Because, like you said earlier, they treat comic books like
As
trading
commodity.
cards. As a commodity. They're
yeah.
trying. It's like buying crypto for them.
Yeah, I remember now.
No. It's about that story. It's about the passion and the love that went into it. If you buy one of my comics just to bag and board it, stick it in a slab and never read it, well,
Buy
thanks for buying
two.
my comic.
No.
Buy two.
The answer is please buy two. And I'm not even being facetious here.
Yeah, buy one to read and one to save that way.
Or buy the digital. I want you
Back it and
to
board
read
it.
the story.
New hashtag.
Back and board it.
Well, the guy was sitting there.
That's what she said.
I remember. I actually remember this exchange now.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Now we can.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so he was going through Randy's stock of issues, and he got to a certain section that was all Alterna comics, and they were different printings and this and that, and he kept going back and forth about, oh, well, this one, this looks like it. Is this the first printing or the second printing? Because I'm collecting, and I want to make sure that I'm getting da-da-da-da. So I kind of helped him through trying to figure out which was which, but that whole exchange, I don't think he wound up buying anything. It was like, okay, yeah, have a nice day.
So what did you tell him that grinding noise from vaguely where Luke is standing was?
Oh, right, yeah, his teeth.
It's my teeth grinding now. Because you're not talking about the story, guys.
No.
Read the comic books. That's why it takes me hours to draw a page. I don't go through all of that so that you will never look at it.
Yeah.
I do that. I'm okay. So when we end, we're going to talk about what we're working on in 2023. And guys, I'm on a lot of projects next year. I'm going to be, my full-time job is going to be right here in front of this beautiful tablet, drawing comic books for you guys. This is my job. And I am so grateful. I'm grateful to all of you for buying the comic books that allow these creators to pay me, okay? And guess what? I get paid not 3 months later, not 5 months later, not a year later. I get paid before the art is done. They pay me for the page, I draw them a page. And like a good artist, I get it to them in a reasonable amount of time. Some of you artists got to be better too. I mean, come on, guys. That's why people are talking about using AI art.
Yeah.
Because you guys are such a pain in the neck.
You're a writer.
Yeah.
Don't Willis your writer.
I mean,
make the experience fun for them.
So what? So if I could put a button on that, pay your artist. A really good way of doing business, I think, is half up front and then half on satisfied completion. I mean, it doesn't.
That's our arrangement.
That works. I mean, I get it, I understand it, and so that's how it's going to be. And
now, Justin, I don't want you to stroke my ego. That's not what I'm asking this for.
Well,
what I want you to do is I want you to express the art process. We know the coloring process has been a pain until we got Patrick on the book, right?
Sure.
But the art process, was it enjoyable for you?
Yeah, 1,000%. Because especially when we were creating characters.
Was it good for you, Justin?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she said. Anyway,
I always like to leave him satisfied and wanting more.
Oh boy. Well, so I do have
Logan's as good as he can get, folks.
I do have to say, I'm curious what Chrome Dog would have turned out before the nap, because I think you've leveled up big time in your art game since your nap, 100%, 1,000%, whatever. But no, as far as like the process of getting the art, as the art goes, on the things that we've agreed to have done by a certain time, such and such, yada yada. Your eye for basically creating the pages out of my small prompting in the script. I mean, I think you and I jibe really well when it comes to, I'm writing something, I have an idea for what I want to see, and then you take those and I give you a wide berth to be able to, realize what I'm trying to do, and you make it even better.
As long as you pay immediately, that's good. But yeah, some artists do get lazy. Well, here's the thing: leveling up in the traditional sense, and that's kind of the whole point of today, I think is not what it is. Getting published by a publisher, that is not leveling up. Leveling up is getting better at storytelling and building stronger relationships with your fans. That's what leveling up is. Being able to do what you love for a living. You know what? I'm not going to talk. Watch this.
That's going to be a
Can you hear it?
Because every kid that buys a book is important in a respect, as long as they don't bother me, it's okay. As long as they're nice and polite and not pushy. Because some of them had, it's not that anybody in comic books is great shakes on a national scale or anything, but they seem to feel, some of these fans, the pushy ones like you're talking about, Marie, that they own you.
I think fans are the backbone of this business.
No, I think fans are just that.
I think they're the foundation of...
Well, what fans? Which ones? The ones that come up every day, or the ones you never hear from? The ones you get letters from, or what?
The ones that buy the books. The ones that
or
buy
what?
The books.
I like
the
that
ones that buy the books,
ones
or
that
what?
buy the books.
Are you talking about ones that write?
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that write the letters. Who are more or less the
To be clear, the letters he's talking about are those people that
letters to the editor.
Yeah, weird letters,
Yeah.
like weird letters.
Well, they'd be on Twitter today.
Yeah, they'd be on Twitter today.
Oh yeah.
Those people are now running the industry, and the people that actually like the books,
Have better things to do.
Yeah.
They've been pushed out.
It's a minority, right? The ones that write the letters. It's a very small minority. I wrote no letters fan letters as a kid. Not only that, I didn't know anybody that wrote fan letters when I was a kid. Did you know anybody that wrote a fan letter when you were a kid?
That's the Marvel.
Well, that
bullpen.
word fan is just that. It's fanatical. They're a group of fanatical people devote their lives to comics. I'm not saying that they're bad or anything because, you know, everybody has their own hang-ups in certain areas.
I like comics a lot.
Me too.
Right.
Comic books is really a field. It's absolutely a field standing alone all by itself. And the people in it, I think, are probably as different from any other group of people as any group of people can be different. The people in the field themselves are a little bit strange because anybody that's 45 years old and does comic books when he could be making twice the money in advertising has got to be a little bit strange.
Amen.
Yep.
And
God
these people,
bless them, everyone.
most of them work freelance. There's different types. Even though they're all lumped under the one thing as a comic book artist, you have your straight family man type guy that has married, has kids, you know, and works at home like any other freelance artist would. On the surface, he looks just like any normal human being. Then there's the artist that, and this is the one that stands out in my mind for some reason, is single and he lives by himself. This is sort of the romantic view also of the comic book artist. Everybody, I think, sort of pictures him as sort of eccentric. You know, surrounded by old comic books and reference files and paper and scrap and junk buried neatly with a little green lamp overhead, you know, with a lamp with a little green shade, you know, working in the dim light with crusty pens and mutilated brushes. That's the kind of... Well, there's a lot to that to it, I think. I know guys that are like that.
I love that. Like,
bless
look,
us,
anyone that's
everyone.
45 years old and making comic books when he could be making double in advertising, it's got to be a little strange. Isn't that true? But that's the love of this thing.
Homer Glitch, I love people who are engaged and willing to state their point and, you know, be civil when there's that's what we want in a chat, because everybody learns when you have that kind of person in a chat.
As opposed to somebody like me that just trolls Nick full time. So yeah,
it's okay. It is okay. I love you because you know
if Bunny's awake, he's trolling Nick. That's the.
I was born with this face. You know, I have a face for radio and a voice for silent movies. I accept that.
Yeah.
All right, so
it's what it is. Other advantage of print-on-demand stores are equal access to limited runs. You set a cover to print 500 copies. They no longer be available. So that's pretty much what comic Wellspring does, something like that.
I think I'm not quite sure how that all works, but yeah, speaking of comic Wellspring,
there you go.
The new prints are that you've got are from there. I've got a local printer that I'm going to try to work with on this weird distribution idea that I've got to bring out in probably 2024. 2023 is a big year, so I mean, let's talk about. Someone asked, "Hey, any resolutions for the new year?" And I said, "No, I don't do resolutions because I'm pretty happy with the path I'm on, and I don't resolve to change."
I don't resolve to change. I'm sorry.
It's the
your
truth.
Humility touches my soul.
I
you
don't
know.
In fact, I spoke with Corey last night. I said, "Look," because she made a joke because they were talking about someone who passed away. I said, "Oh well, friends and family visitation is from 1 to 3," and she goes, "Yes, and enemy visitation is from 3 to 1." Give them a real long time to come by. And I said, and I laughed, and I said, "No, I want that. When you do my obituary, you make sure that they know that enemies are scheduled right after the friends and family." Because, and then I jokingly said, because I want them to flip me over so they can kiss it goodbye one last time as a reel of how I owned them my whole life is playing in the background. And she's like, "Oh, Dad, you're funny."
Okay, so we'll start with Justin. Are you still here, Justin?
He has a phone call.
Okay, he's on phone call. Zim.
Okay.
What are your 2023 plans?
Yeah.
To conquer the world. No, Arrow Comics. That's
But where
the
are
big
we going
thing.
to get later hosen at this hour, Brain?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. We're going to take over the world.
I have a bucket list. I've had a bucket list since I woke back up. And when you're laying in bed staring at the ceiling, that's what you make. You remember everything. You bring yourself back to this plane of reality, and you start making a list of things you're going to do once you get better. I've got this COVID book that's been hanging over my head for months, for too long, but I've been working on other commercial gigs and just been processing the entire last year. World domination is right. Other than that, I've got a book on the history of comics that I'm just barely scratching. I'm up to Wonder Woman in World War II on that. I can't wait for folks to read. I'm very proud of it already.
You need to do an audiobook too.
An audiobook, maybe.
Yeah, read it.
No, but this has been fun because it's my characters. I've got a character, a monkey named Spank, that is a retailer, along with his brain dead cousin Shock and the other people that come into his store. A drooling donkey named Buck, and a little feminist girl that's a dolphin named I don't remember. Right now, I've got the list here. It's been a while since I've worked on that book. Anyway, I want to finish that book.
Brenda Blowhole. There you go.
I've got a cosplayer bunny character named Bop coming in, and when cosplay starts entering the history, but it covers the whole history as an overview, and I can't wait to get to it. But I've got to get this COVID book out of my system first. My wife's making sure I do that. Then after that, it's an Anniverse collection that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Susan Van Camp is back, and she's painting, and she's doing much better. She's starting to become more socially out there after everything that's happened to her. It's her story to tell, not mine. But looking forward to that. She's looking forward to doing a Varsel's Vixens book again. And if you know Anniverse, that was way back in the late 80s. It's a property that has sat dormant for way too long, and I want to do we'll do a full collection of that. That's coming. There's so many other projects that I want to get done. I've got books now that are being colored that I haven't touched in 20 years that I'm going to put a fresher coat of paint on, spice up the writing, the lettering a little bit, and then release those as Arrow Comics of properties that I love. They're like my kids. And I with Patrick, I think we found somebody that is able to treat it the way that I want to see these books in color done. And I can't wait to bring those out to you. There'll be a lot more of that. Plus, I'm here with Luke and growing Arrow Comics off of an idea, philosophy of creator-owned books that started back with Ralph Griffith and Stuart Kerr back in the mid 80s. That Tales from the Anniverse was their first title, and that's the philosophy that I want to keep going with, that where it's creator owned, it's creator controlled, and there's no major money source coming out. We're there, everybody's in charge. All the creators are in charge of their funds, they're in charge of their individuality, but we're Arrow Comics, and we're going to promote each other equally. We're going to or promote each other as a group, and hopefully get a wider audience out there reading these books. And we're being real careful about the quality. All of the books are top notch. Everything that has an Arrow label on it is a book that I'm proud of, and that's one of the big criterias for me. That's it's all due to Ralph and Stu back in the 80s, and that philosophy that we just need to keep going. And Ralph, literally on his deathbed or close to it, said that take Arrow and take it as far as you can take it. Take the name, be proud of it, make it a brand that he would be proud of, with products that he wants to see, that he would want to read.
And that's really the main focus on that company. And we're just going to see more growth in 2023 because I think that the brand has become like a magnet to quality producers coming up and asking to carry that brand and to be part of the Arrow logo. So that's the big thing for me for 2023. And might not be able to complete everything that I want to do, but I'm going to give it the old gung ho because like I said, I got to get past the book that's in front of me right now in order to get on to all of the other stuff that I want to get done. So cool. that's my goal. We'll see how it goes. Mm-hmm. But one thing's for sure, Arrow's just going to keep getting bigger. This market is conducive to it, and we're building a foundation that we're hoping to bring a lot of quality books to and a lot of attention to. And eventually these retailers, these crazy retailers, just like a lot of people in this industry who have this stupid mindset that they have to do one thing and have to have one distributor and can't go anywhere else and have to do, if they want to make money, they want to carry quality product, they're going to want to start looking at Arrow Comics. Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah, right. There you go.
That's the objective.
And
if we can help them make money, then that's great.
Got a wave. There you go. You got.
Yep.
You got it.
Sorry, but my camera is up here. My board is down here, and I'm looking at everybody else while I'm talking. But yes, look
my
at
camera's
you.
way
Buy
up high.
Arrow Comics. I can't express it enough. HeroBot Zero has got 2 issues out. Hybrids is great. It's got a ton of issues out. We're doing collections. I can't wait to show you and have you read Calico of Shard that Michael,
great book.
At C. Michael Lanning does the art on. It's a high fantasy book. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait. Absolutely. You want to read superhero books, modern superhero books with a nice modern twist to it. You're going to want to read Paragon. It's literally, and I don't know how much trouble I'll get into if I say this, but it's my version of Superman. If I was given the okay to do Superman in my way, the way that I'd want to do it, that I think that it needed to be done from the start, this is it right there. Yep. Paragon. And it's a fun book with a great twist, and there's a lot of stuff in the wings. Paragon 2's artwork is done. HeroBot 3, I have a great story that I want to do for that. I've got another story already in house for 4 that'll probably end up in issue 4 at this point. Calico 2 is already in house. I'm just waiting to color it and letter it and and get it up in front of me. What was that? We can make
those books back up
big
again.
while he holds up these books. Yeah, absolutely. Here's Paragon. This is artwork by J.R. Harris.
Woohoo! I read a lot of books this year. This one is in my top 2.
There we are.
Top 2.
There you go.
It's a great superhero book that I've always wanted to do. Like I said, it's my version of Superman. Wait until you see The Fool that Patrick is currently coloring. The Fool is amazing. It's my version of the Punisher. If you had somebody out there fighting street crime, he'd be completely insane and use practical jokes as weapons and then take trophies for anybody he detains for the police, and he incorporates it into his action duds. I told Patrick yesterday to think of him as the rodeo clown of justice.
Nice. Cannot wait. Oh my god.
That's the Fool.
That's a hell of a
that sums up the Fool.
Rodeo clown of justice.
The rodeo clown of justice. HeroBot Zero is giant robots, lights that are 3 feet tall. He's a 3 foot tall giant robot. It's got a complete arsenal on him, created by a kid in order to help defend his city from giant monster menaces. And he ends up being infused with an angry, grumpy old man's attitude, pretty much me anymore, who will work, but he'll only work on the clock. And he gets time and a half for hazard pay.
I do the job, I get paid.
I do the job, I get paid. Exactly. And Calico is just high fantasy. It's a female cat that comes into her own, along with an elf who likes going around interdimensionally collecting things, a overly toxic masculine barbarian fairy that's a lot of fun to write, and a female warrior centaur, as well as a Gandalf. What?
No, just also I did. At first, I didn't realize it was a centaur because you pulled the the framing of how you were holding the comic popped up.
Yeah.
And went, oh, Okay, that's what I'm seeing. No,
Yeah,
that's
that's what you're
awesome.
seeing.
I love it.
And-
This is like a great.
And a wise old wizard, because every great fantasy book has to have a wise old wizard.
Priest,
Yes.
yeah.
And that the entire the point of the story is that they're putting their world back together.
Very good.
So, and then
There
there's
you
a
go.
lot.
And,
There's a lot more to come. There's Unforgiven. There's more War of the Worlds on the bucket list, and more Spank the Monkey on the bucket
To
list.
answer your question, Malin is busy looking for his Dale Keown cover. So that is that's what's going on there.
That's why he's not here today.
That's why he's not here whipping. the
One of
shoes.
the many reasons why he's not here today.
Understood.
That and he doesn't know this show exists.
Right.
But that-
yeah. Right.
That
If it
doesn't care if he
helps,
did.
I don't know who you're talking about.
That's
Brad
Arrow
Lee Jim
Comics.
is far more important to me than whoever this Malin.
I think he would have fun.
presume,
Malin is a former
Spank
pro
them.
artist that
Shut
does independent work now.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
him.
Oh, you can get Spank the Monkey on digital right now.
Yeah.
There is 2 issues. The first 2 issues of the original Arrow 3.0 Spank the Monkey that's available in PDF digitally on arrowcomics.store. First issue is just Spank going through life. Second issue is a guidebook for strip clubs, where you will see the Bob Denver rating system for dancers. Every dancer that you meet in a club meets a can be explained by a character on Gilligan's Island.
There's your
I don't
Bob
know.
Denver.
It's a fun read. It's meant to be a fun read, and I don't get to draw boobies very often. And there we go. Anyway,
Because a lot of your stuff is kid friendly.
majority of my stuff is meant for everybody, not necessarily
Yeah, so
kid friendly, but it's meant for
arrowcomics.store.
everybody to read. Yep.
You can subscribe to the mailing list, but it's really easy. You just go to comics, and then we have them separated by physical and digital.
There we
And
are.
So in digital is where you can get that Spank the Monkey.
I would recommend number 2. It's a nice self-contained issue, and it's just it's really meant for adults. So
Adults only, yeah.
adults only.
That's why we put adults only on there.
Absolutely.
Everything else is available for basically everybody.
Paragon's
Calico,
up there.
great
Herobot 2
book,
is
yeah.
there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say Calico, great book. The Revolt book is I mean we've got next year. I mean very soon we're going to be adding Soltak to the list. We're doing Rift Riders will be out next year on the website.
February will
Condog.
be the whole Arrow tier will be
Yep.
fulfilled with that Rift Riders campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, a quiver full of comics.
Yep. Fill your quiver.
I'm
With
all
arrows.
You can
I'm
also
all
learn about the
a-quiver.
creators' contact. I also suggest going and checking out the history. Randy,
Just guys,
is-
just look at that logo. Watch the colors swirl. Watch it. You want to
just dances.
Arrow Comics.
Yeah, and you can learn about the history of Arrow, and a part of the legacy that we're adding to. It is for me. It's a great honor, pleasure to do that.
And just so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, to be.
I hang out with some fat people. I don't know about big boys, but anyway.
Yep.
Bunny,
Bunny
what's your plans for 2020?
Okay, all right. Well, let me show you some art I've gotten from my.
Make it
my
big so
campaign.
nobody complains.
All right, so this is Switch.
Nice. That looks like a
Yep.
Anthony Figaro piece.
That is definitely an Anthony Figaro piece. Now she's not going to be in my book, but she's going to be in some material.
What a tease, man.
Here you
But
go.
she's
That was
actually-
shady. She's not going to be in my book, but here she is.
She's going to be included with some materials that are included with the book, called the FERA files, which gives a rundown on who she is, has a short story introducing her, and it will have some art. So there. And now this is Ironside. So he's going to be the main character in my first book, which is just introducing the universe. But the series is going to be called Community Service. It's going to be on Fund My Comic, circa July the 4th, 2023. So coming up this year. Also, I'm going to be in the 03 compilation, which is Out of Obscurity, which is a compilation of public domain characters reimagined in new and exciting ways, with some really cool artists probably haven't heard of, and some writers, maybe some of them you have, and some you haven't. Announcement, I'm getting some pages for my artists, and I'm going to go ahead and get them colored so they can be part of the campaign. So I managed to get a colorist this morning. So as soon as I get those pages, he's going to color them.
Very nice.
And then we'll talk about the lettering later. But that's going to be part of the 03
on January 1st. Okay. We're launching on Fund My Comic. So we're going to launch it. It will be one of the flagship launches for Fund My Comic. That's what that will be. It'll be one of the first books you can get. That and the Hybrids Manual.
Right.
Yeah.
But so basically, so also on my channel, I'm gonna really work on that this year. I'm stuck on 321 forever, but eventually I plan on hoping to break it at embargo or whatever's going on. But this Friday, I've got, in addition to my usual buy one, back one update, talking about the hashtag, things going on in the crowdfund sphere. I usually have a topic, and then we update any campaigns that we have our eye on. But that night at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that's a PM, I will be talking with JR of the Island, also known as Fourth Age, a genius. If you've never seen one of his videos, look him up. He is one of the brightest people I've ever met. He gets into the psychology, he gets into the socioeconomic. I mean, he breaks things down like nobody I know. But we're going to talk about how do we get heroes back into the culture since they've been forcefully removed. So that's what we're going to do this Friday at 7 o'clock p.m. Be sure to come back to Telepathic Bunny Comics channel. Same bunny time, same bunny channel. Hojo, the colorist, is the guy that you pointed out to me this morning. I went ahead, whoever he is. So anyway, I don't know the name right off, but he's good. He's good. All right, so that's all I got. Take it away, whoever.
Justin, what are your plans for 2023? What are you doing? What are you doing to make it happen?
So,
the dream?
So my plan, assuming everything goes according to plan, is launching the preview 10-page comic. I guess, well, it's not really a comic. It's an ash can of the first 10 pages of Chrome Dog #1, just to be, something that people can look at and critique if they want, or just it's basically just here it is. And then also, crowdfund the remainder of the comic book to get it up and get what hard to but yeah, to see you get you paid so we can get the rest of issue #1 done and in the bag and get it over to Patrick and all that jazz. And but I'm also currently, I've plotted out issue 2, issue 3, so I've got big plans for Chrome Dog. Also for the Bronze Terror, which is going to be my feature story in Out of Obscurity, which Bunny just cited. Looking forward to revealing Thunder Horse in all his glory and in what he's got going on. All of the, I want to say 90% of the 6 pages have been inked. I'm still waiting. I think I'm still waiting on the last page, if I'm not mistaken. And then colors are coming along pretty good with that one. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have on the docket. But in the meantime, like I'm definitely here for anything and everything Arrow, as my my little moniker says there, as being an Arrow Comics fanboy. I definitely want to be a part of what we're doing with Arrow in as much as I can be.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
In 2023.
2023, man. I think it's going to be a good year. Obviously, I think the industry is going to change a little bit. I think leveling up is going to look different. I think people are going to start to realize it's more about connecting with the fans than connecting with Diamond. I don't think Diamond's going to go anywhere, but I don't think it's going to be the powerhouse that it used to be.
Leveling up is already different, by the way.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
And whether Diamond is here or not within a year, comics are still going to be out there. This market is not going to go away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this art form is not going to go away. The market might shift. The players might shift, but the art form is not going to die.
Yeah, somebody want to clear that up right quick?
Oh my gosh. Thunder horse, like a horse that's thundering, not horse. Yeah.
Sorry, I just trademarked that name. So don't anybody get any ideas.
Yeah.
That's another surprise maybe for 23, 24.
Oh boy.
Thunder Whores. Ho!
It's a spin-off to the Y Women.
Yeah.
Oh,
villains to the Y Women.
I'm already regretting giving him that wizened Indian name.
Bye, Joe. I'll plug our stuff. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick, what are you doing this year?
Oh my God, 2023. Okay. Right now, we'll start with the easiest broadcast stuff. In 2023, I will still be doing Nevermind the Furthermore, the Historical Fencing Guild live stream, and Art Time with Nick. There may be a fourth show coming focused on game design. That's going to, not like world building for gamers and stuff, for RPGs. I have something formed in there. Comic wise, out of obscurity, we'll have Paul Bunyan Kaiju Slayer. We've been working on that. If there's interest in that, I'm going to run down that line. If it's one of those people don't look at, we shot, we see. That's how I operate. Game design, my God. T-Bunny's going to grab Buddy Sin. They're going to solve Buddy Lord. I'm sorry, not Buddy Sin. Wrong Buddy. Gonna grab him. They're going to shake and solve whatever problems they have through violence, and they're going to put out they're going to put out Writer's Rule. The Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game, which you can still easily get the Quick Play Part 1, will be coming out with the second in that adventure. I have started doing the light notes for the third in that adventure, because I have to work a little ahead of Luke if I can. I want to do the third iteration of Big Stompy Robots, which will take it to yet a larger scale. I don't want to give away too much, but this is one of those creator bucket list things that I've had since I was a kid. It's something I've always wanted to be able to do, and I think I have the game design chops to pull it out. Nice. No, Art Time with Nick being me. If you want Art Time with Dick, I do know some people, but
it depends on my mood.
Is a Dick? No, I love Reggie.
That's what she said.
Writing wise, I think I have between 5 and 6 novels of different length that are just primed to go, ranging from sci-fi to a horror story anthology to some more in the Big Stompy Robots, because it's a novel series now too. War stories and combat and some horror and some fun. I also have a fantasy RPG based on what I ran for Red Valkyrie, being Dusk Falls over Ravencleft Gorge. I filled that out much farther than they ever got, because they got about halfway through. So I want to get that out. I just haven't decided if I want to OGL it for D&D, third edition with the changes with the fifth edition OGL. I'm not touching that. And or simply wait till I can do the other project, which is the base plus 2. That's the engine for hybrids fantasy system, which I really want to do a fantasy. Take what I've done for a modern / superhero game and do a full fantasy top down. I also, on top of all that, have a comic I want to. Yes. Of course you do.
Why wouldn't you?
Like and subscribe if you haven't had kids. Well, I couldn't because I have a child.
If you haven't kids.
Oh. Derp. Hi. Dyslexia. It's a special disease.
It's special, all right.
But I have also Joe Bachman. I am a part of the Indie Creator Directory, which has just launched and is just getting started as a way to promote people. I also will be doing an app. He's doing the hard work in the background. I'm hoping to do art and things for the images to make Big Stompy Robots a playable video game style app on Android and probably iOS.
That'd be
That's
really
something Joe and I are working towards. That's right in the creator's bucket list to really be behind all that. I'm really looking forward to 2023 because I've been fighting a lot of health issues behind the scenes that maybe I don't talk about as much because it seems stupid to talk about limited health issues in the company of these two. It's like, yeah, I'm doing physical therapy to be able to stand right and walk right, and I want to get back sword fighting. We died. Well,
Randy twice. I mean,
yeah.
Well, because Randy's never been one to learn. He's got to take the hard path. And
Trump card.
Not enough, right?
No, never.
I was going to make a shirt that says, "I'm not done yet."
But I also want to do I'm setting up a merch site for some of my IPs because I just need to. Wow. Okay.
Turkish wrestling.
I'm just.
Oh, Lord help us all.
You don't want to see me in a Speedo. That's all I can say.
But basically, I have more plans and more diverse things than any sane person should. I always set my year with I want to put out 12 publications of some sort. I don't usually.
There's your shirt right there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Death
right.
can't wait. Death can wait. I'm making comics. Preach.
That'll be on my store this afternoon, guys.
I can make a shirt. I'll send you the typesetting. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Send me the typesetting and I'll put
Death
it
can
on the
wait.
store.
I'm making comics.
Yeah, that
do the typeset and I'll put it on the store. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll buy it.
That reminds me, I have to get my Broken Vacuum 2024 shirts. Because I have some people who they won't go and buy it themselves. Just pick it up. I'll get it. I don't remember what site. But like it's LukeStoneStudios.com. It's not hard to remember.
It's very easy. Go to the Nerd Bacon link. That's where all the things from Nerd Bacon end up. Yep, that's where it all happens.
And that's one thing I want to see more of. I wanted to do a bit of resolution talk.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
He stole it.
Yeah.
We'll
Gone.
give you credit.
It's gone, my friend.
Like your little,
I love it.
Omer glitch.
Death can wait. I'm making comments and then dash Omer glitch.
Just as small as we can possibly get.
Oh yeah, like 3-point font.
I can
mess
build
with
it. I have the technology.
There we go. There we go. So Nick's pretty busy. You got a lot going on.
Yeah,
Nick and I have
got a
some
lot.
things going on. Yeah.
And I can't talk about everything we have going on,
Right
so I have
there,
to be
baby's a
quiet.
button cutter.
Well, we can talk about most of it. We can.
Well, I figure you will.
We are going to be launching lockdown
This
games.
is the this
next
is not
year.
safe for work one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be launching a whole game company based on the work that we've done with the Hybrids book. Obviously, the Hybrids book is launching January 10th. We should have a site up working by then. So we're going to forego Indiegogo. We might take it over to Kickstarter, but Fund My Comic, that's going to be our home for it. We're doing the core manual and the RPG, not the RPG. We're doing the RPG core manual and the trade paperback for the Killing Field. So you can get this book, not that book, this book. You can get the full manual. I mean the Trash Day trade paperback. You'll be able to get the Killing Field trade paperback, and then you'll get the core manual, plus the quick play is available, part 1 and part 2. So we got a lot going on with that campaign. That's going to be a huge campaign for us, and so we're looking forward to doing that one.
Friends, I don't say this often because it feels like I'm tooting my horn, but there are elements in the game that you're going to find out. If you want to know hints of what's coming for the Hybrids universe after, issue 12, issue 15, something like that, when it's going to start, these small stories led to a great story, which leads to the next great story. Sorry, my JMS is showing. But we're building the groundwork for expansions in there, because thanks to Luke, I'm getting the opportunity to dabble and expand into comic writing, which is something I've always wanted to do, and I love the idea of I got in trouble for it all the way through high school. So the fact that I get to write, small, even the little shorts, because I've written a couple shorts now for Luke that are going to come out, and one I hate that I have to be quiet for. Because it's silly. Guys, it's coming from me, so I think it's on brand. Can we say it's on brand?
I've written one too. I'm writing one too, so there you go.
But and I will say, it's going to change the face of the hybrid.
Luke will let anybody write one. I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, I mean, he let me in, but I don't know if that's desperation. Folks, give Luke money because he has to resort to working with people like me. We need a GoFundMe for Luke because it's not fair that he has to deal with people like me and Bunny. You realize that sometimes.
Not only am I doing the thanks for saying the check. Yeah. So not only am I are we doing that, but the next 3 issues 10, 11, 12 are coming out. The full omnibus is coming out next year.
Yeah.
I've got a new book called Forgotten Country that is coming out next year. So that's finally getting its first issue.
I almost forgot about
Rift Riders number 2 is coming out. We'll be doing fulfillment in February of Rift Riders number 1. We've got the Out of Obscurity that's coming out. I'm doing a book that's going to go straight to my website called Other Realms. It's a collection of my short stories in comic book form that's coming out. I am on the Chrome Dog book, which will be coming out. I am on another book called Stained Glass, coming out with Starcross Comics, doing the art for that. And I'm on another book that we can't announce yet, but we're going to work on the announcement for it. But it's a 100-page graphic novel. And so I'll be doing that. You want to?
They don't want to see us. They want to see Luke.
Big me.
Big Luke.
We got a lot. So yeah, I got a lot going on. Plus we've got the T Bunny's writing something for me. Yeah, so T Bunny's writing something for me. We're doing a Bone spinoff next year, and we may get another issue, or like a first issue of Seraphina out next year. You want to see? That's Bob, the Stormtrooper, and I got lightsabers down there. I'm a big lightsaber collector. Here's one of them right here. I got this. I do have a clip where this can hang on my belt, and I may or may not sometimes just walk around the house with a lightsaber hanging from my belt.
As you should.
Yeah, I may or may not, but definitely do.
Yeah.
So yes, we've got all that coming out.
It's not cylindrical.
Look, when you almost die, you write that bucket list, and you decide that, man,
you talk to Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's as far gone as you can get, dude.
I literally did.
There and Back Again is no longer just the Hobbit story, okay?
Hey, I tapped on the gates of heaven. Yeah, you might have died there, dude. Just saying. It's a possibility.
You asked about, their extended auto warranty.
Yeah. When you come back, you realize what you want to do. And I just had this passion for doing comic books and helping people in the comic book sphere. And it was more than where my current assignment was with ministry. And I kind of felt like that's where things were going. And I got some encouragement to do this full time. So it's a passion. And so we got a lot going on next year. On top of that, we've got Fund My Comic, which is launching. And I'm starting my own coffee brand because I drink copious amounts of coffee. They will be available at fuelmycomic.com. But the coffee brand is called Crack-A-Boom Coffee. And the tagline is, "It's a real punch in the beans." Thank you, Bunny. He wrote all that. Yeah, that was not me. He came up with it in a chat, and I thought it was hilarious. I have already gotten Randy to record the voiceover for that. So he is narrating that, and I'll have a commercial for it soon. We have found the bean supplier and flavors. I'm just getting ready to, working on branding material so that we can place the order and get everything ordered in. So we'll be launching fuelmycomic.com at some point this year as well. So this coming year. And I don't know. I might start another business. Who knows? We'll see. But there you go. Show off the good stuff.
Show off the good stuff. Show off the good stuff.
And Volume 2 is almost ready. And I'm handling fulfillment for Craig.
Boom my bean.
Boom my bean.
Boom my bean.
That could be your espresso line.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we thought about onomatopoeias being the names of the coffees, like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom bang.
Boom bang, Biff.
Yeah.
Pow.
Biff. Yeah.
Zoom.
So we're gonna start with a breakfast blend, a mocha.
There you go.
And I'm working on a partner program for creators that want a signature flavor of Crack-A-Boom coffee. Like if you wanted to do a like I'm working with Eric Hodson right now. He's wanting to do a Dreaded Dinosaur Man brand like flavor, which would be a cherry bourbon. And so I'm working on a program that would allow creators to buy in some stock for themselves of a special flavor. And so,
hell yeah.
Yeah. So
yes. Scratch needs his own flavor.
Yeah, so,
oh my gosh.
So I'm looking at what that's going to be.
Or maybe Sally.
I'm working on what it's going to be just a simple one-time transaction instead of profits and all that kind of stuff. Working out the pricing to do a one-time transaction so my profit and time is taken care of, and you have a stock of coffee that you can sell on your own at your conventions and things like that. But I'll make it available from my website as well, my Fuel My Comic website, so that we can, but that'll be my stock. But you get your own stock out of it. And so you can
I'd
sell
end
it
up
from your
drinking
website
my
and
own
all that kind of
supply.
stuff. Yeah. Getting high.
Well, it's yours.
I have my own supply.
There you go.
It's out.
And Omer Glitch mentioned starting a bikini coffee. We had a bikini coffee shop. We had a local entrepreneur up here in one of our suburban cities open up a bikini coffee bar, and he was open for 4 months, and then the local city paid him like $200,000 to go away. Straight up, just to go, because there was so much congestion around the bar because the girls were in the skimpiest bikinis they could possibly find.
Yeah, I can see a blood.
It was
honey
quite
coffee.
the attraction in such a
honey
little
flavor,
small
yeah.
town. They bought him out, sent him on his way.
Bunny's talking about his special flavor too.
Yeah. Irish coffee, and maybe I don't know, I think I was saying I'm a macadamia nut, something like that.
Yeah. Irish cream and macadamia nut, yeah.
Yeah,
I
something like
miss
that.
coffee.
Do an
we
arrow
do all kinds
quiver.
of stuff with it.
I miss coffee.
Do an
God.
arrow,
very
an
excited
arrow
about
quiver
it.
coffee. Do
Arrow quiver coffee. There you go.
Do an arrow quiver coffee and have it the highest caffeine content. that you
Quiver
could possibly
coffee.
make.
The
Yeah.
quiver.
Give
Give you the quivers.
Get it?
Guaranteed to
Quiver?
give you the
Give you the
jitters or your
quivers.
money back.
Yeah, so
Oh, don't say that.
just
No,
got it.
don't, really, do not
Yeah.
say that to some of the coffee drinkers I know, because
Get a Cuban coffee blend. Trust me, that's worse than
But
espresso.
see, that's
It
the
really
difference.
is.
I'm a coffee lover. I'm not a coffee drinker. There is a difference. I'm a snob when it comes to coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
have you had good Turkish
This
coffee?
is good coffee.
I wish.
Oh my God! See, one of the joys of running with the medievalists that I used to run with is I encountered good food, like good Turkish coffee, and oh my God, it'll make you weep. Keep you up for about a day and a half, but you know,
That's all you need. Turkish coffee and Turkish wrestling. There you go.
And Turkish delight. You need
And
that.
Turkish delight.
Evening of fun. Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah, pretty much
absolutely
anything turkey.
Bye.
Anything turkey. Yeah.
Nick doesn't even
More
know. He,
Turkish bathhouse.
He's. I can see Nick's like I don't know. I don't know, guys.
you do. Well, you know, what it is I have a line that I try to extend, but I don't. You know, my job isn't to save people off the cliff. My job is to hold up a sign and say, "There's a cliff here." And occasionally, I watch you guys go, "Whee!" Well,
There you go. All right.
I held up the sign. You know,
Hopefully,
it's
hopefully the
a
landing is
country.
soft.
You're gonna
By
be
the
stupid.
way, Nick, a friend of mine's got a super villain called Killage.
Killage.
Killage, yeah,
That's a weird name.
yeah.
Killage.
I-
Oh,
Yeah,
I
like-
get
Glitch.
it. Pillage,
Glitch
killing,
wants some
and pillage.
Turkish women.
No, it's a sword. It's one of the most vicious
Kill
swords that's
Edge.
ever been created.
Oh my gosh, kill Edge. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's what I do every time I install Chrome. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, guys, here's the deal. We've been going for 3
right,
hours
all
and
right,
23
all right,
minutes.
Gotta go. Yeah.
We have had a great day, but man, these comic books do not draw themselves. Okay.
No,
Be sure to check out everybody what they're doing. I want you to have a very happy New Year. Okay, it's been a heck of a year. 2022 has, but I'm looking forward to 2023. We're gonna do some great things in comic books. Let's start looking at ways that we can better serve the readers and the fans. And if you're a reader and a fan, let us know how we can better serve you. Please go check out each of our websites. Check out T Bunny on his Twitter and his YouTube. He needs subscribers, guys. Go over there and check him out. He has a lot of great writing content and a lot of fun stuff going on over there. Justin
and he's okay if you
is
disagree with him. A lot of
it's okay.
hosts can't handle that. He'll have the conversation. It's one of the reasons I respect him.
He likes it when people disagree with him, and it's fun to watch. Justin, check his stuff out. Definitely aerocomics.store. Check out Nick Tockard with all the stuff he's doing. I mean, these guys are making noise, right? And my
Before we
dogs
go,
are
I'd like
making
to.
noise,
I would like to put in a small plug for my Comics by Night show, 5 a.m. Friday
Hold on.
mornings over on the Indie Comics Network. We're going to be looking at some John Byrne material that not a whole lot of people have seen. And then Sunday Funnies will be back this Sunday, even though it's New Year's Day. We'll have a show over there as well. Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. That's over at the Indie Comics Network.
Yeah, here, check this out.
In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
That sums
We've
up
also
the show
got
completely.
Nerdcap. Yeah, we've also, if you have a show and you can make a little trailer, give it to us and we'll play it here. That way we
Thanks
can
for
promote
that.
your stuff.
Yeah.
So, buy more comics. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, buy more comics.
Whoa, whoa.
There you go.
Wait. Why? Wait.
So
I want back.
I'm going to go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think you should too.
Why is there not a Bobo the Monkey buy one back one mascot yet?
Well, it's been discussed.
All right, so here's So speaking of good deals, what about our discount code for Gemini mailers?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up. If you're buying Geminis next year, Nerd 10 for 10% off your Gemini order.
For all you indie creators or anyone that's doing fulfillment, all that jazz, pack your comics well. Do not pack them in a daggum manila envelope. Like, no, you need, like, it needs protection, because the post office don't care, UPS don't care, FedEx don't care. They're throwing stuff over fences, for crying out loud. So you want to make sure to, put them in something that's rigid enough. Yes, I know some people, some of these carriers will, be a smart aleck and bend it over their knee or something, which is just a travesty. What's that? What are you doing?
This was stuck in my mailbox. It was shoved in my mailboxes. Had "do not bend" on it everywhere, and it was just shoved in my mailbox.
Exactly.
Even the last 2 books I bought from Amazon were delivered in a bubble envelope.
Yep, exactly. That's
thrown on the porch and photographed. Yeah.
So only you can prevent dumpster fires.
There
you go. Tuesday nights, we're doing a show called Nerd Cap. It's a nightcap for nerds. Here, check this out. There you go.
There you go. Nerd Cap.
It felt like it was going to go somewhere. That music was like really getting to a good spot. It's like, boom, we're here.
Build up.
Next segment.
Yeah, I'm ready for the synth wave. The old Lamborghini or Ferrari going with the neon just whooshing, and you guys know.
Whooshing. It's like a tech.
You know.
I can get behind that.
We know.
Yep. So, yeah, guys, it's been a good show. Thanks for being here. I want to thank the chat. You guys have been awesome. If this is your first time here, please consider liking and subscribing. We do have an opportunity for channel members, and part of next year is going to be doing a lot more for our members, so that they have some fun content. I'm going to be doing a series of
thank you, Nick.
Tutorials.
Thank you, Luke.
A series of tutorials for artists and creators that use Clip Studio Paint.
Yes,
EX
please.
For their comic books. So going through and showing a couple of things that really help, especially things like perspective tools and things that it took me a while to learn. Trying to show some of the secrets and tips to that. I've already got one up, and they'll all be very short. And then I might start doing a weekly or daily news update thing. I'm not sure yet. If time permits,
Luke, I know you have so much free time and you're not doing a lot right now.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Clip Studio Paint. I was wondering, have you looked into how people make brushes for CSP?
Yeah,
because
I know how to do that.
I was thinking, one, that'd be neat to learn. Two, the Luke Stone brush pack would be something that would be a really great project to go with, because I want to see Luke do essentially a master class at some point.
Let's add that. Let's add that to his sparse schedule.
It's going to be 2020.
Let me figure out how to be a master first.
Oh, please. I watch people on YouTube all the time to see if they can draw better, if I can learn from them. Some of them, you don't need to go back to their Etch-a-Sketch, but some,
Burn.
Yeah. I learned a lot from that David Finch. I like watching his videos.
Good.
Wait.
Really good.
To those who haven't been read in, Nick, what is an Etch-a-Sketch?
Etch-a-Sketch is just like that idiot relative you have
now
who
we hit
wants
a new
to
low.
talk without knowing what they're talking about, and the only way to clear their mind is to grab them like till the screen blurs. No.
I had to do it, man, because you're the one trying to clarify and make sure that everyone knows what we're talking about
actually, an Etch-a-Sketch is a toy that's made a resurrection where you turn two knobs and it pushes a little dusty thing inside a screen to let you draw. It's a very odd little skill set to acquire.
You know,
but
I really do love that Nick is here to do those kind of things, because sometimes we get speaking industry stuff and people have no idea. What's a David Finch? A David Finch is a comic book artist that does very good work. I'm not familiar with his politics or where he stands on things, and quite honestly, I don't care.
Which is awesome. Which means he's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his work. He's strictly comic books as far as I know, and I think he's a fantastic artist, and he's a great
Some people
instructor.
think he's better than Dale Keown drawing the Hulk. I'll just say that.
I might be in that camp a little bit.
I would have
It's
to
really
compare
close
the
for me.
two.
It's
Yeah, I'd
really,
have to
really
see
close
it,
for me.
See a side by side to
it's really
say
close
whether
for me.
I
But,
agree or not.
But guys, I want to thank the chat for being here. We wouldn't have a show without you. We've had a great audience all day. We haven't dipped below 10. And at one point, we were well into the 20s over the 6
Nefarious
platforms
said
that we're
something
streaming
about
to.
InDesign. Do you use InDesign?
I do use InDesign, and I can do a number of tutorials on that as well. What's the David Finch? Yeah. Yes.
No,
yes.
I just saw that, and I am
I'm
huge on. If you know how to do something, do a tutorial to pass the.
Evidently, I've transgressed against the Keown. So
yeah, I love Dale. Dale's a good guy.
T Bunny. Okay, you have to understand something about T Bunny. It is a mechanical process. You see, he grew up in a place where he was so surrounded by BS that he developed what we call BS skills. Where, most people drown in the BS that is spewed. You'd grow gills to be able to breathe in it. And I admit, because I too have the same ailment.
it's my home. It's my home.
So every once in a while, the only way to stay living is to randomly shovel absolute drivel. Just, because it keeps it in your natural. It's like brackish water for fish. You need a little salt in your water. Luke is fast becoming so salt water he can't leave the coast because of his salty content.
Yes.
I'd be afraid to take Luke to Lake Michigan. I think he'd die of osmosis. But all the salt would just rush out of his body.
And if you can understand the metaphorical connections that he's making right now, then good on you. But yeah, I'll probably never get that Keown cover, just like Malin. Yeah, we'll just keep waiting on that. But again, it's 3 hours and 33 minutes. Thank you, chat.
We gotta go.
Thank you, panel. We gotta go work. It is time to eat. Remember, build up more than you tear down. Leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And for crying out loud, be careful out there.
Be careful out there, guys.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see a 211, half a dozen 459. 2 AEWs, a GTA, and several miscellaneous crimes. Homicide, arson,